Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another beautiful event presented by Lidoma Asia. This is, let me remind you once again, a beautiful invitational season number 2 presented by Lidoma. The broadcasting partner is going to be Loco, and along with that, the game is Free Fire Max. But we are going to witness 6 days of straight mayhem in the plains, and after that, 3 more days will be there in the grand final. So definitely 9 days of an amazing invitational season is going to be there. My name is Raider. Along with me, it's Eagle on desk for the host and the casting.
Well, of course, first I would like to thank you a lot, Rita, for inviting me here, and as well as Lidoma Esports as well. But apart from those things, this is going to be the 9-day tournament, a vast tournament, a challenging tournament for each and every team. And as it is Asia Invitational, so we were going to witness one of the best teams of Asia as well.
Well, definitely we are going to witness a lot of teams who are going to play their natural game or maybe something new strategic analysis is going to cook over there. So definitely we have to look into that factor as well, that how these teams are going to cooperate with each other. And for today, I believe the schedule is going to be a little bit different because Group B and C is going to fight. You have a total of 18 teams to be precise from all over Asia, which are going to play and take their part for a couple of days. And apart from that, if I talk about the groups, well, they are three groups: A, B, and C. In each group, I believe we have 6 teams, if I'm not wrong. And today, Group B and C are going to head out in a battle for 6 matches straight. And the schedule is going to be like our natural maps are going to be there. Like Bermuda is going to be there, Purgatory is going to be there, and Kalahari. And after that, the cycle is going to repeat for next 3 matches, where Bermuda will once again come in, then Purgatory, and after that, Kalahari is going to come in. So definitely, every single match is going to count quite a bit. But Plains is there. That means we have a lot of long journey to go with. 6 days to be precise, and in these 6 days, if I'm not wrong, for every single day, I believe throughout the 6 days, everybody is going to get 4 matches each. So definitely that is going to be quite amazing. So having this kind of matches, trying their level best, and I believe qualifying for the grand finals is going to be the main goal, because in grand finals, only 9 teams are going to get qualified from these 18 teams which have been invited in this particular tournament. But let's talk about the event overview. As I was talking about it, we have got the plains, and 18 teams are there. 6 days are going to be there. The method is going to be round robin, where the groups are going to get shuffled, and apart from that, as I said, 6 matches each day are going to be there.
Well, as you said, it's gonna be 6 match each day, and each team will be allowed to play 4 matches. And if we talk about today's Group B into C 10-01-2023, well, this will be the playing schedule. And if we talk about 12th, well, A into B again, and if we talk about Group 13th, well, it's Group A into C. Then if we talk about 14th, B into C, 15th, A into B, and 17th, A into C. So this will be the playing schedule of Lidoma Asia Invitational Season 2. But what we talk about the consistency of the teams, well, it's not going to be that much easy for any one of the player, because whenever we talk about when you get a lot of number of matches, whenever you get a lot of opportunities, a lot of responsibilities is also onto your shoulders. But if we talk about the prize pool, well, it's almost about $1,000, and the winner will get $500. Runner-ups will get $250. And if we talk about the match schedule, well, today's map schedule is of 6 matches: Bermuda, Purgatory, Kalahari, and the same schedule will repeat along the side. So without wasting any time, we will directly move towards our flight path very soon.
Well, definitely the flight path will come in, and eventually it will give us an insight on how the fight is going to ignite. Is it going to be an aggressive stance, or the fights are going to be a little bit passive? That's what we have to look into it. And eventually, at that other angle, I believe if I talk about the live chat, everybody is here to support their favorite teams. That's amazing, to be precise. And if you are supporting your favorite team, make sure to consider one more thing, that is that you have to actually give your everything at this point. On Loco, if you are actually watching us in other language, that is going to be Hindi. So go ahead and follow them. And English is only on YT for now. So you have to actually subscribe the channel so that you can get the insight. I'm talking about those guys who don't understand the regional language, that is going to be Hindi. If you actually are watching just in English, then go for it. Apart from that, I'm actually pretty much decisive about the fact that today's day is going to be a day which will quite be quite an insightful day, to be precise, because we'll get to know that which kind of competition is going to be there, how the teams are going to develop themselves, how these fights are actually going to get developed. But look at that, the fights have already been started, and it's Team DX who have actually lost their 2 good members. That's going to be Diamond and Foxen. So loss of 2 good players, well, I think it's going to be a little bit more shaky for them. And if we talk about Davon and Heaven, I believe Heaven is actually going to go and fall back a little so that he can actually respawn his teammates.
Well, as mentioned, the first match is of Bermuda, and this is a very great map to watch out. 42 players are surviving right now. Talking about Team GRW, well, almost they are 4 men standing. They haven't, I don't think they haven't secured any finish point yet. But apart from those things, if we look towards their, man advantage, this is going to be very much important for the teams, very much important for the players. If they are summarized up, if they are formed up between each others, and the split is not so far away, I totally think that could be a very, opportunity for the team where they could grab some more finishers point, where they could grab some more early finishers point, and that will give a lot of boost, a lot of confidence to the team right now. But at those current scenarios, as we can see, they're still on more focus on loot, which is also very much important for the teams and players.
Well, definitely it's going to be quite interesting, to be precise. We have got DEADROW in our perspective, as you can see that. We have got DEADROW KD09, we have Sahil, Sultan, Jaguar, X9 is trying to play. At this point, if we talk about the placement, I believe Jaguar XL is a little bit far away from his teammates. He's 400 meters away, and that can be a troublesome situation for him. On the other corner, we talk about NGX, out of the beautiful team to be precise, NIGMA Galaxy coming from Thailand. Let's see how far their establishment is going to go. Because to be honest, Top has been completely stopped. He has been taken down. Apart from that, if we talk about Caramel, Dew, and a few god from that particular roster, Caramel is trying to jump in so that he can calibrate and get a lot of loot. To be precise, at this moment, I believe he has been respawned from his teammates' help. But apart from that, if we talk about RRQ, well, they are in a trouble. Well, they have been completely finished off, to be precise, and NIGMA Galaxy from Thailand was able to actually do everything that was possible from the courtyard, and eventually they have gained 3 amazing eliminations. That's absolutely amazing. Meanwhile, if we talk about the team, that is RRQ KAZU from Indonesia, well, they are out of equation from the first match of this invitation skims.
It's a very great team to watch out. They're a very aggressive lineup. They enjoy to take fights at those early phases, especially. They also, enjoy to take those aggression onto those right point. But currently, if we talk about RRQ, they have been got eliminated from here, and it's a very surprising and shocking information to watch out. But talking about Team ONIC, well, there comes a 1v1 scenario. Finally, a great smoke cover has been created as well. Well, he's barely surviving on those 145 HP. It's not gonna be that much easier. Perfect jump shot, and finally, a great elimination was done by Gadu, and I think this will give him a lot of confidence. This will give the team a lot of confidence, where you will get those early finishes point, early knocks, and you can move forward. But if we talk about the zone, well, this will also trouble the players a lot, as it is the first one. So I don't think it's gonna be that challenging to the team. But you should get inside the zone and get those early rotation at those right point.
Well, definitely at this point, if we talk about the team's elimination, I believe another Pakistani giant that is known as HOTSHOT has been taken down with a beautiful takedown. RRQ KAZU, as we talked about them earlier, they have been finished off completely. On the other corner, if we talk about teams like Team Mafias, OG Elite, E Arena, BTR Delta, Team World of Battle, Dada Gang, these are the few teams which are representing Group A. They are not going to be present today, but don't worry guys, on 12th, day after tomorrow to be precise, these teams are actually going to come in and show their faces and eventually show their skills. So whoever are the fans of Team Mafias or the Mafias to be precise, or OG Elite, E Arena, BTR Delta, Team World of Battle, Dada Gang, stay tuned for it, because these are the few teams, these are the few groups they have to face, your favorite teams have to face, to be precise. So as an audience, you can easily get an insight that what the competition is all about. Meanwhile, you can wait for the 12th Jan when these teams are actually going to face each other and Group A will come in. But today, it's the battle between Group B and C. And for now, if we talk about the fight, it is coming up close to the plantation region. And eventually, we have got Team AV, which is trying to rotate. AV Radicals, to be precise, coming from Philippines. They are trying their level best to rotate. And eventually, some glue walls have been planted. Ammos have been actually circulated here and there. So that's good enough. But the safe zone will shrink in just 43 seconds. Not a lot of time period to be precise. But then again, the shots are coming in the lobby. You can see that in the map. You can see that the shots are there. Vine on the other corner is going to repatch himself because his HP is not looking that good.
As we can see in the mini map, the players are very close to each other, and a sense of cluster crowd is being created out. Some external support of the teammates are also being done right now. But looking at Team ACS, they're trying to get inside the zone, and if they are unknown to their opponent position, I think this could be very much challenging for the team. 36 players are still surviving right now, and there comes the grand entry of the grand player. The question is that will he able to get those finishes point? Talking about Team ACS, they're still outside of the zone. Though they have a vehicle, I think this could be very much supportive for them to get inside the zone very easily. But they have secured one finish point. Pretty good, decent start, a pretty positive start has been given to Team SCS, because if we look towards this team, they are 4 men standing, almost 4 finishes point has been secured. Not a single player has been lost out. So later this gives a lot of confidence and boost to the team that there's a high probability chances that they could get that win in this match.
I mean, indeed, there is a huge probability at this point. But if we talk about other teams, I believe they are also trying their level best to gain that kind of advantage. We have got DRANIX at this point. We have got Ambot, Susanna, Mal, and Pew coming from Indonesian region. That's amazing. Well, on the other corner, a huge exclamation mark comes in that the safe zone is now shrinking. So definitely these 36 players have to consider, if they're outside the play zone, they have to actually go in the play zone. And at this point in the peak region, Team DRANIX is trying to survive. Susanna is there trying to take over some good shots. He's trying his level best to get an inside that where the enemy is. But currently the enemy is not going to be that close. And that's a great strategy, having the same kind of dress. It can easily confuse your enemy. So it's a beautiful, I believe, strategy. But eventually will it work? Yeah, indeed. Will it work in front of these experienced team? That is the biggest question at this point. And look at that, we have got the dead board as well, from which you can see that teams like RHK, well, they have been finished off. Apart from that, RHK official is representing Bangladesh. Remember, guys, we've got RRQ who had two finishes in their favor, and they have also been finished off. But look at that, some deadly shots coming up. But then again, a beautiful KO comes in, and that's Mal who has been taken down. Apart from that, another beautiful knockout comes from Ambo's Kana. But finally, I believe the team has been finished off.
Well, of course, the team has been finished off, and it was a great gesture from Team DRANIX, a great support from their side that a well-planned execution was done, and finally the players are back to four-man standing. If I'm not wrong, yes, they are back to four-man standing. Some certain glue walls have been created for those defense cover right now. But if we look at the player survival, only 33 players are surviving right now, Raider. And as the zone shrink is coming on, as the players are coming close to each other, the breathing space is getting very much lower and lower. This could be very much challenging for the teams and players as well. But similarly, if we talk about those teams who had got a pretty good start at those early phases, they could play a vital role in this particular match. They could give that head start. They could pressurize their opponents. They could challenge their opponents because of those confidence into their hand, and also those man advantages into their hand. If we talk about the loots right now, well, each and every team, I believe, have got a pretty decent loot to move forward with. But there you go, it's Team WB drags the RSG. He has been taken down onto the another end. Revival was given to the player, but X-God, finally he'll get eliminated. And this fight, I believe this is very much challenging because you're surviving at those verge, at those end of the zone, and you need to get inside the zone. I think this could be very much struggling because you need to eliminate your opponents and also get inside the zone. So a very crucial time for this team.
Well, for now, the Bhima Shakti strip comes into play, and you can see that we've got Team V-Bros, the big giant coming from Nepali region, trying to actually just decipher and get as many as blows as possible. Drago GRG is not looking that good, and look at that, he has been knocked out, and that's a sad sight to watch. But eventually, if we talk about this guy, Woodpecker is in the hand. Poison is trying his level best to appoint some glue wall so that he can make that defensive cover, but eventually still he is unable to find out any gaps and any kind of decimation at this point. He takes some shots. He is able to repatch himself. He's trying to boost himself, but eventually that is not going to help him a lot. Look at that. Now they have to push forward. Now they have to figure out a strategy. Oh, that is a good shot coming up. And with that Woodpecker, he manages to get a triple kill. With that, I believe Team V-Bros is now a little bit more confident, a little bit more progressive about the fact they have to fall back. They have to point a lot of glue walls so that they can fall back. Look at that. Poison is not looking good. He's having a lot of trouble at this point in terms of rotation because a lot of shots are coming up. But still, Team V-Bros is surviving with the amazing consistency. They've got the 4-man power. But Rohit, at that same moment, has been taken down and completely been finished off. On the other corner, Prabhu X-God gets another set of kills. That is a couple of kills that he's trying to find, but AV Radicals finally gets eliminated. Apart from that, V-Bros is now looking confident. They have got a lot of finishes in their favor. If we talk about the right number, I believe they've got close to 6 finishes in their favor.
Well, of course, if we look at Poison, he was playing a very vital role, but right now he has been taken down. Will that revival be possible or not? I don't think it's gonna be that much easy, and finally he's been eliminated. Talking about the other two players, Drago and X-God, playing a vital role, and within a snap, each player of this team is taken down. Talking about other players, well, Team TSG, they are 4-man standing, and right now Black 27 has been eliminated. Last 3 players standing here, Raider, it's gonna be very much challenging. If we look at the mini-map, almost 2 to 3 teams are standing here at those, a very small region, a very small area, and within a snap, if we look at it's a Legend. I think he's also been knocked and finally been taken down. The last 16 players are surviving, and we are left out with almost 6 to 7 teams, so which means each and every team will consist of average of 2 to 3 players. But as we can see on top of the tables, it's Team DRW with those 4-man standing, but yet they have not got any finish point. Onto the other side, at those side screen, you can also see some players are trying to get inside the zone, but on big screen, well, finally the elimination has been done, and now the pressure on each and every team will almost be similar.
Well, indeed, be it Team DEADROW or be it teams like TSG, they are actually having a lot of trouble at this point. And look at that, trying to actually appoint a glue wall, but eventually it was not successful. Now Sahil becomes the last man standing of his team, the only guy which might actually push the team to the glory and maybe get some position points for the team. But let's see how far it's going to go on. If we talk about Sahil, he's remaining at the last. He's trying his level best to repatch himself, get as many as possible.
Oh,
But eventually he is also blown to bits by the team known as DRANIX, and eventually the last one starting from team DRANIX is going to be Mal. And if we talk about TSG, there we go. We have Pawan, I believe, if I'm not wrong, and NIGMA Galaxy from Thailand is also surviving. Oh, that was amazing kill, amazing pick coming from that Woodpecker, which was amazing to be precise. NIGMA Galaxy looking quite confident, just 3 teams surviving. One from TSG outside the zone doing the heal battle. And if we talk about the main deadly competition, it is going to be between DRANIX and NGX, because as per the dead board, we have got the foam and power. But finally, the skateboards are actually coming into play. Let's see how it is going to help them out. Well, the shots are coming. I believe this is going to be the final. Yes, the
beautiful.
chomp comes in, and that was a chomp. And with that, a Booyah comes in for the team known as NIGMA Galaxy coming from Thailand. With that, the final stance of this first match of the Plains, day number 1, is actually pretty much over, and it is in the hands of NIGMA Galaxy, as we talked about it. And this actually shows that there we go. We have a start of the Lidoma Presents Asia Cup. The invitational season, to be precise, is already started with a beautiful Booyah, and it's Thailand who is going to cherish for this match.
Well, the starting message was pretty much clear by Team NIGMA Galaxy. They got the first Bua with that aggressive gameplay onto their side, and which was very much required. If you clear the message to your opponents, to your enemies, this would be very much phenomenal to watch out. But other teams, in fact, they also need to come back and get those positioning at those right time. But similarly, if we talk about Team NIGMA Galaxy, they played just phenomenally. Well, there are there any chances, Raider, I want to ask you that will they allow any other team to come inside the game and
Definitely.
play their own scenarios, because we have almost 5 matches left out, and there are different maps as well, so I think there's a chance for other teams as well.
Well, for sure, there are going to be chances because the battle has just started. Quite a few teams are trying to just play and eventually learn what the other enemy is actually having in their bag. So definitely, after learning those strategies, I believe the teams are going to be a little bit more predictable, and then teams like PSG Army or some of the team is actually going to bounce back quite sharper, and maybe we will get to see some new faces. Although I'm not going to doubt what Team NIGMA Galaxy from Thailand is trying to do. They are absolutely chaotic. They are absolutely decent in terms of the strategies that they've built. But the only thing that is going to repeat is going to be the mayhem. Apart from that, teams will change, new faces will come who is going to get the booyahs back and forth in their favor. So definitely looking forward to see which team is going to be that, because today the matches are between Group B and C, and now 11 teams are remaining which has to get the booyah, and out of these 11 teams only 5 are going to get the booyah, because in a one match only one booyah comes in and just 5 more matches are left. So out of these 11 teams, which are those 5 fortunate teams who are going to get the booyah, for that we have to witness the second match. That match is going to be held in the Purgatory, if I'm not wrong. So looking forward to see what happens.
Of course, we'll wait for those matches as well, but there's a high probability chances that there could be few teams, 2 or 3 teams. Well, I believe they could also get some back-to-back boyas as well. Radar, I believe if we talk about NIGMA Galaxy, there's a high probability chances that in the second match, or not in the second match, if they're not lucky enough, in the third or fourth match, they could get a second boya of the day. So it's very difficult for other teams as well, because if we, as you mentioned, that NIGMA Galaxy is very much chaotic and playing a very decent gameplay with those finishes point into their favor, so they are looking very much aggressive. So each and every team should also come forward and show that same aggression, and they should give a good competition to the Team NIGMA Galaxy as well.
Well, the competition is going to be there for sure, and those of you who are asking that Hindi commentary is available or not, so let me remind you guys that yes, we have got Hindi casting as well.
Yep.
So you can witness that on our channel, Lidoma Asia. Go ahead and eventually tap on the channel. And apart from that, you are going to get another live stream, which is actually getting casted in Hindi, where you can watch our Hindi co-casters who are actually giving an insight on the match as well in their regional language, to be precise. Well, this stream is for the English language, and eventually eventually the people coming from all over the Asia can witness us and learn what is happening in this chaotic invitational season number 2. Remember guys, this season has been kicked off with a beautiful bang coming from Thailand team, which is known as NIGMA Galaxy. Looking forward to see how far their carnage is going to go on. Well, from my perspective, I believe I would love to say that yes, some few other teams which have been eliminated quite early, like RRQ or HOTSHOT coming from Pakistani region, and other teams as well, they have the capability, I believe, and they will showcase along the way, because 6 days of straight mayhem, and eventually a lot of competition is going to get secluded here.
I totally agree. These 6 days are going to be very much challenging for the team, and from here we will play with some more teams in those grand final stages as well, which will be of another 3 days. So a very long tournament to chase out with. So I'll request my audience to please, guys, go to hit that like button, subscribe the channel, share the stream with your friends, with your mates, and do show your support, because we are doing very great job Asia Invitational Series by Lidoma Esports, and we'll come live each day with those 6 matches. So we'll give you a short notification on your YouTube, so you need to subscribe and click that bell icon as well, so you'll join us each and every day to support us, to support your favorite team. But similarly, hats off to again Nigma Galaxy performance. I'll be very much waited to see the upcoming matches of different maps and different teams, how will they play off and what will be the results as well.
Definitely looking forward to see how far the result is going to get there, because the next match, well, I believe it could be Kalahari, it could be Purgatory. We have to look into the schedule for that.
Yep.
And eventually, when the map is going to be there, I believe we'll get an insight. If Purgatory is there, the map of 3 islands is going to become, well, where a lot of bridges are there. You have to actually use the trolleys to actually go from here and there and travel with some good insight, because it's a very open map to be precise. Apart from that, if we talk about Kalahari, the map of desert is going to come in, and eventually in that map, things can change quite drastically. The reason being, it is a desert-based map. You don't have a lot of areas to get and cover. You have got a few compounds, but eventually those compounds are also going to be flooded with the enemy. So you have to be quite strategic. And eventually in that map, I believe the usage of higher ridges, the advantages of having those tall buildings and eventually areas like train yard are actually going to help you a lot. So looking forward to see how these maps are going to become an advantage for set number of teams. Because if we talk about the teams, let me remind you once again, we have got teams like NIGMA Galaxy. Well, Abuya in their credit. To be precise, we have got RRQ KAZU coming from Indonesia. We have got TSG Army coming from India. HOTSHOT hailing from Pakistan. RHK official from Bangladesh. DRANIX coming from Indonesia. Once again, another Indonesian team is going to be ACS ALFAINK. And apart from that, if we talk about Delta X, they are hailing from Thailand. DEADROW, same from India. ONIC eSports coming from Indonesia as well. That means 3 teams coming from Indonesia here, and only one from Philippines, and that is going to be AV Radicals, and one from Nepal, that is going to be Vibros. Quite a big names. These are the big giants coming from their own respective regions. From Indian region, I believe in these 2 groups, we have got only 2 teams. From Thailand region, we have got 2 teams. And from Indonesia, the maximum number of teams are coming from Indonesia. I believe that are 4 teams to be precise, which are representing Group B and C for now.
Of course, they would be representing, as you said, they are big giants from their particular region. And as the name is totally mentioned, it's Asia Invitational Series. So we'll be playing off with one of the best teams of Asia, of different regions and of different country. But we would also love to see that a different audience would join us and do show their support by hitting that like, subscribe button, sharing the stream, because we would be, as Raider mentioned, we would be coming live up to from here up to 9 days, because we talk about this stage. Well, this stage will conclude of 6 days, and then after that conclusion we'll move towards the grand final, which will be held of 3 days. So it's going to be very much a giant tournament and very much chaotic tournament for you guys and for us as well.
Definitely, it's going to be an interesting feat to watch out that how far this tournament is going to go on, how much more of a calibration is going to get developed, how far this establishment is going to help these teams to be precise. Because there we go. If we talk about the prize pool, it's 100. If I believe it is $1,000 if I'm not wrong, and that's a huge prize pool to be precise. And this kind of prize pool can easily uplift a lot of spirits. So that is why I believe it is going to be quite amazing. The champions are going to get, although $500. If we talk about the runner-ups, they are going to get $250. If we talk about the third position, $150 from their corner, and fourth position will get $50. So definitely from these 18 teams, only the top 4 teams are going to get cherished with the prize pool. But let's see how far this match goes on. Okay, another beautiful map comes in, and this is match number 2. The Purgatory comes in. As per the schedule, we are going to witness Purgatory, and the team which has got the first booyah is NIGMA Galaxy from Thailand, and they have got the vehicles. They are trying to secure as much as loot as possible so that they can get the compounds in their favor. They are trying to actually loot secluded compounds to be precise. They are not actually jumping in a hot drop location. They are pretty much close to sky area, but eventually still they are trying to figure out that should we go there at that point, because enemy might be coming up in that close quarter.
Well, of course, they must be deciding that they should go there or they shouldn't go there or not. This is a very challenging phase where you should start with where you should start with a slow and steady approach. But right now, I totally agree that Nigma Galaxy would be in a great confidence, because whenever you get a great start in a particular match or in a particular day, you hold a lot of confidence. But my expectation in this particular match is from team TSG as well. Well, if we talk about this team, Legend, Senior, and Black, all of them four-man standing team, they're still waiting on. They are right now, they are a pretty much loot focused, which is very much right to move on with. At those early phases, you need a good utilities, you need good guns, good weapons to move on with, so you can cherish them forward as well. But talking about Team ONIC, well, they are also four men standing, and if we talk about the lobby temperature, well, 39 players are still surviving out, and two finishes point has already been secured by ONIC, and this is the start what we were talking about. When you are at those drop clashes, when you are at those rotation clashes in the first zone, you get, and if at that point you get those finishes point, your team will very much obliged enough. But right now, as we can see, Team Delta X, well, they have been eliminated from here in this second match, and I think this could be very much demotivating for those teams, because in the first match, if you couldn't perform, then second match is a chance, then third, then fourth, and if the string continues, I believe, Raider, I think it's going to be very much challenging. You should perform in one or two matches to get that consistency and to show that you're getting a comeback.
Well, definitely the comeback is actually much awaited at this point from every single team. But then again, there is a big question that how far you are actually going to stretch it, because the time is going to run out from your hands. So definitely do give the comeback, to be precise, as fast as is possible. Apart from that, if I talk about RRQ, well, the last match was not that favorable for the team. I hope so that the next match, or should I say this one, maybe in their favor, to be precise. They are trying their level best to actually perform quite a bit. This is another beautiful Indonesian team, although from NIGMA Galaxy's corner, this is pretty much said and done that yes, that team is pretty much decisive over the fact, and a lot of teams are coming from the region of Indonesia, because I can see from the group splits that we have close to 6 or 7 teams that are representing the Indonesian region. So that means the scene of Free Fire Max is actually pretty much huge in that particular region, and that's lovely, to be precise. And all the viewers coming from Indonesia and the other regions like Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and Nepal, well, most welcome from our perspective, I believe, as a caster. But now let's witness how the fights are actually going to go on, because still the fights are about to start for RRQ KAZU, to be precise. They are still not in a wrestle. They are still trying to just decipher that way the loots are actually, and apart from that, they're also trying to travel through the zones, because if the string comes in, if the circle actually gets in their perspective, it can be quite tough. But AV Radicals on the other corner finds a beautiful vehicle, try to actually revolve, try to actually loot, and eventually now Ramil and the other guy is just trying to, should I say, discover how many loots they have got. But the airship has been also summoned.
Of course, if we talk about the right now current condition, well, Team RRQ, as you mentioned, in the last match they got eliminated at those early phases, but in this match, I think they need to show that comeback. Talking about Team AV, well, it's Returns, Rymel, Vine, and Tanamo. All of them are four men standing, getting those early rotation with their vehicles. And if we look at live locations, and this is what we call a perfect production as well. Live location could be totally seen here. Team DX is totally at those X12th position. If we talk about Crossroads, it's Team SCS. NIGMA Galaxy is around those lodge areas, and each and every team is at their current position. And we can't see any drop clashes right now, apart from Team HS and Team DX. They are almost on X11th and X12th position. So let's see, will be there any rotation clashes? Some players are swimming around, some players are dealing that first zone damage as well. So 36 players are still standing around. What do you think, Raider? Will this match go on that slow and steady phase, or after this zone shrink, player will become lethal and aggressive?
When it comes to zone string, definitely I believe the players are actually trying to wait for the first few zone strings so that they can eventually get as much as loot possible, so that they can loot the crates as well. And after that, when the zone string will push them close to each other, I believe then the factor of aggressiveness is actually going to count, because apart from that, I believe the first two circles are not going to be that damaging, and after that, when the zone strings comes in rapidly for the third and fourth circle, and after that the repercussions are going to be quite chaotic. So yeah, looking forward to that. And eventually answering your question, yes, I guess for now, I believe for 2 or 3 minutes, I believe the fights are not going to come in, but after that the real ruckus is going to form, because then the circle will be so close, so tiny, that the teams are for sure going to get in a tussle.
Well, of course, teams are gonna get on those clusters and crowd as well. But talking about the current conditions again, well, 37 players are still standing around. Talking about Team TSG, they have almost lost those 3 players, and the last lone ranger surviving for the team is Pawan 25, barely surviving, getting those zone damage. And I believe he should get a vehicle and get inside the zone as early as possible. But talking about Team DRW, Well, it's Sultan, Sahil, KD, and Jaguar. All of them four are still standing out, but yet they haven't got any finish point. They're still searching for that start to get on with. But looking at Team Nigma Galaxy, I'm very awaited to see. I'm expecting that they could get those, a second Boya in this match. It's not that easy, but yeah, this team can do anything at any time.
Well, it is possible. On the other corner, if we talk about the rest remaining 11 teams, I believe they're also pretty much confident about the fact that they're about to secure the Booyahs. But eventually, two teams which are out of that equation is going to be teams known as HS, which is the HOTSHOT coming from Pakistan region. Again, they are being down to dust. And if I'm not wrong, Delta X from Thailand have also been finished off. So that's a sad side towards that two teams have already been wiped out from the face of this lobby. Two eliminations coming from DEADROW's Jaguars corner. That's amazing. Apart from that, they are pretty much close to the respawn area, and this is the central region, which is good enough. Apart from that, if we talk about the particular perspective of Nigma Galaxy, they've got some decent blues, they've got some decent guns, and look at that. They are just trying to actually burst out the canister so that if anybody would have been close to that, they can easily receive the damage that this guy is trying to throw on them. Meanwhile, still trying to give that impact, but the impact is not coming for now. Let's see how far the situation is going to help them, because now if we talk about the guns are pretty much keen. This guy from team, the other guy from team Nigma Galaxy from Thailand had got the MA2P, but that gun, although it's very chaotic, but then again the rate of fire is pretty much slow, the reload speed is pretty much slow, accuracy is going to be precise, but the armor penetration, I believe at that angle, things are not looking that good for the gun. But let's see how far it is going to help them.
Similarly, if we look at Team ONIC, as you said, apart from gun, if we look at their start, well, they have got those one finishes points. Still, four-man standings are around themselves, and they are pretty much closer to each other, and a pretty good, decent communication and coordination are being well maintained out. So I believe if they go with that same consistency throughout the game or throughout the day as well, I think they could get one or two Booyah as well. It's not going to be that much easy because there's still a longer period of time is to be maintained out. But looking at the current scenario, 36 players are surviving out. Two teams have been eliminated. If we look at the two teams, it's Team HS and Team Delta X, if I'm not wrong. They've got two finishes point into their favor, and they also got those early elimination. The whole team got those early elimination, but right now if we talk about Team RRQ as well as Team Nigma Galaxy, well, these are the two teams which could tackle a lot, but some amazing shots have been taken down, and it's going to be very much crucial. And there you go, it's Zach. He is looking very much aggressive to get those finishes point. Talking about Puya, is also moving on with those vehicles, and I think the rat and cat chase gameplay could start at any point of the time.
Well, indeed, why would it not initiate at this point? Because now you have to collect as many as flags as possible because the zone is getting shrunk down. There is actually a double trouble coming for you, that the zone is also going to suppress you. Apart from that, the enemy is also going to suppress you. But if we talk about RRQ KAZU, I'm actually pretty much afraid for this team because they're in very open area. Although the zone is pretty much open up, but eventually they can build up some glue walls so that they can have a decent cover in their favor. Apart from that, there is a compound that is actually pretty much in the closed region. I guess so they had to be pretty much decisive about this fact. Brasilia is the area where people can come from, or they can come from the river edge, but from the people coming from river edge, I believe they can easily be taken down. Look at that, another set of KO comes in. That's a Razor who was able to get a KO, but eventually that finish is not going to come for him because the covers are huge in Brasilia region. So definitely those compounds are going to help a lot for those guys who are getting KO'd. They can easily get back on their feet and eventually come back even stronger. But for now, if we talk about the guns being used, yes, TSG army finally has been eliminated. That's a sad side to watch, that this kind of team which has a huge caliber is getting demolished, is getting shattered at this point in this Asia Cup.
Well, it's become so very much shocking for the team because if we talk about the last match, in the last match also Team TSG got eliminated at those early phases, and getting those same consistency into the negative side, I don't think this will work out a lot. But like this, if you are playing, I think the team confidence will also go down and your audience confidence will also go down. But you have still 4 matches remaining. You can surely give a good comeback in the rest of the matches. It's going to be very much important and very much needed as well. But looking at right now condition, Team RHK, well, they are trying to initiate those fight. Some amazing glue balls have been created, some artificial covers have been created around, and it's going to be very much difficult for Team RHK. Mituli has been taken down, the second knock, Knight has been taken down, and finally he'll be eliminated. Last 2 players standing, it's Ucho and Rifat. Well, these are the last two players standing, and the whole responsibilities is onto their shoulder. And finally, the glue wall will not work out. Uchu and Rebirth, well, both of them will take both of them will be taken down. And Middle, the Lone Ranger, the survivor for the team. Let's see how will he perform out, or will he able to make that clutch possible.
It's going to be a tough fight for him, and yes, of course, he is trying his best to go in with the blows, but he is not going to connect anything at this point. He was able to build out a glue wall, and now he's going to heal himself first of all, and then I believe the revival will also come in. And yes, the revival is there. Look at that, Utsho is back on his feet. Mithil is actually going to rest himself, but a close quarter once again comes in, a close combat to be precise comes in, and with that, I believe this team might actually go down. But look at that beautiful knockout coming from his corner, but on the need comes in with that. RHK official has also been taken down completely, and this is team SES, which was absolutely amazing in terms of the battle that they were able to dish out at this point. So looking forward to see how SAS, ALFAINK coming from Indonesia is going to build their strategy, because for now they've got a decent amount of frag in the wave, they have got decent amount of kills. I believe this was a third party if I'm not wrong, because already the enemy was there at the counter area, and now NIGMA Galaxy have also been eliminated. So the question of repeating the Booyah in the next match is already out of equation for that team. Now the Booyah will actually come in the team, in another team's handle.
Well, of course, so now the Booyah will comes in other team's favor as well. By talking about team DRANIX, well, they are still waiting on. Almost four of them are still standing around. They have got those two finishes point, if I'm not wrong. But talking about team ONIC, they have also got two finishes point. But in return, in counter fire, Zack has been taken down, and a perfect revival is very much needed. An instant revival is very much needed right now. And finally, that revival was done. And talking about KAZU, Puya, and Visa, some amazing glue wall has been created to create that, a good cover around, and they could get inside the zone. They could get a good position in the zone. And if I'm not wrong, I believe ONIC is that team which could get those, Booyah in this match, because they are four men standing. They have got two finishers point, and the confidence is totally being seen in their moves, into their shots, into their movements. And V Bros, finally they will be get eliminated from this match.
It's a tough battle to be precise. A lot of teams are getting KO'd. A lot of teams are actually getting out of equation. That's amazing. ONIC on the other corner is still trying to survive. They've got the 4-man power in their favor, although only 8 players are surviving, to be precise, and 2 eliminations coming from the corner. DRANIX also been eliminated. I believe 1 or 2 spots might be surviving. Oh, look at that. He's going to prone down, heal himself, and eventually then get back on his feet and fight back even harder. And that's the only verdict that we want to actually go with. Trying to destroy the glue walls, but I believe the Booyah will actually come in quite further. But look at this beautiful dual perspective, which can easily give you an insight. All of them are trying their best to survive. SES on the other corner is trying to survive. ONIC with the 4-man power is actually going to be quite chaotic, but look at that, a beautiful KO comes in. With that, the opening that was required from SES corner is already here, and that opening will help them quite a bit, but eventually the revival is not going to be that far away. Yes, the revival comes in. Woodpecker is in the hand, trying to actually deliver the shots that is required. SLR is also there in his hand. Thompson might be actually coming in the backpack. They're trying to fan them, I believe.
Oh, I think some overconfidence is not good at this right point. But looking at Skade, he's still trying to get some more picks. Will that be possible right now or not? This is a scenario to watch out. Some amazing smoke and grenades have been, poison grenades have been also being used. And finally, the Booyah is being taken down. And that was a great performance to watch out. Some amazing finishes point was also being mentioned. But what we talk about, the consistency, last match was not consistent for this team, but in this match they showed a comeback, and a pretty good consistent game was thrown by this team.
Well, indeed, the performance was absolutely on point, and that's the only thing I was actually excited about. So yeah, looking forward to see how far their performance is going to get repeated, because for now all they have to do is be consistent, gain as many points as possible, both in the kill points and both in the position points as well. So definitely these two things are actually going to be quite amazing, to be precise. When the impact will be there, I believe everything will be good from this team. But teams like NEPAL Galaxy, after they are getting eliminated quite early, be it Team TSG Army as well, quite a few teams are getting eliminated in the earlier stages, although it's a little bit more early to be precise, talking about this fact that teams are unable to perform. But I believe the performance will come in as far as the tournament will push in. Asia Invitational Season 2 is actually just started. Quite a few matches are left, to be precise, and as soon as the matches are going to get ignited, I believe the pressure is going to come in, and with that pressure, the huge embarkment in the performance is also going to come in, and with that, I believe teams like TSG, Amir, or HOTSHOT coming from Pakistan region, and even NIGMA Galaxy, which was able to get a Booyah, and after that they were just literally destroyed, to be precise, out of the equation, will be able to come back quite a bit. And SCS, if I talk about that team, only the manpower was one thing which was out of their hands. Otherwise, things would have been a little bit more favorable for that team particularly. But ONIC, A huge round of applause for that team particularly. And again, they are repeating the glory for Indonesia because ONIC is also from this particular region known as Indonesia. And SES, if I talk about that team, it is also from Indonesia. So whether SES would have been won it or ONIC Esports would have been won it, it would be a
Win for
glorious match for
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Indonesia, it would be a glorious moment for Indonesia to be precise. But then again, teams coming from Pakistan, Nepal, India are still not able to touch the Booyah. Well, it will come in, I believe, very soon because
Yep.
4 more matches to go. Kalahari is going to be the next one.
Well, of course, they're struggling a lot later, as you mentioned, because if we talk about Team RRQ or Team TSG, I was expecting a lot from them as they played on, but it's going to be still very much difficult for the teams. It's going to be still difficult for the players. As we mentioned, this time Team NIGMA Galaxy got eliminated at those mid phases, which was totally, not expected. I was believing that they could get some top 3 position as well, but never mind. They got a good head start in this particular day, and I'm expecting to show a good comeback by Team RRQ and Team TSG because it becomes very much important to be in the competition. If you lost the day 1, if you didn't get a booyah in the day 1 or day 2, you'll be not in the race. You will get down, and it could be very much demotivating for the players and demotivating for the teams as well. So let's see how will these teams come back and what will be their strategies to move on with. But talking about Team ONIC, as you said, they totally played phenomenally and a great performance was delivered out. Let's see, will they able to maintain the same consistency in the upcoming matches, because there'll be change of map as well. So as you mentioned, Kalahari is the map of desert, and a slow map, a slow movement could be witnessed out there as well.
Slow but quite decisive to be precise because it is a very open map to be precise. The map of desert is going to come in where things might not be that favorable for those teams who love to actually play in covers. Those teams which have got the superior kind of game sense, superior kind of gun game in their favor, I believe they are easily going to get a lot of insight in their favor, and that can help them out quite a bit. But now we are still awaiting on the confirmation of that match to actually happen because time might actually take. Lobby is getting formed, people are actually joining, and all the players, the 42 players which have to play are actually in the lobby, when then we are actually going to start the match, and after that we'll get to see what kind of domination these guys are actually going to bring. And apart from that, let me remind you once again, we have got Hindi casting as well, which you can witness on the same channel. You can tap on the channel name and eventually get an insight on that casting as well. A lot of people are there who are supporting, but then again the language is going to be Hindi. You might not understand that language, so if you are comfortable here, you can sit here. If you are comfortable in Hindi, you can go over there as well. And meanwhile, actually subscribe the page of Lidoma India, Lidoma Asia to be precise, because if we talk about
Yes.
their tournament strategy, I believe there are a lot of tournaments coming up, and this Asia Invitational Season 2 is actually the second season of this Invitationals to be precise. So that shows that they are pretty much consistent, just as you are in terms of watching your favorite teams.
Well, of course, in fact, our audience is very much consistent, and they should also be consistent to please getting that likes, getting. Let's keep a like target, Raider. Our like target for the day will be of almost 200 likes, and I'll request my audience to please, guys, go to hit that like button, subscribe the channel, because as Raider mentioned earlier, and as I mentioned earlier, this particular phase is gonna be of 6 particular days, and after this, we'll also play a 3 days grand final. So total of 9 days. A battle, a 9 days giant event could be seen in this event of Asia Invitational Series. So if you're enjoying, if you want to enjoy, and if you want to enjoy each day chaos, each day highlights, so please stay tuned with Lidoma Esports and do support us with hitting that like button, subscribing the channel, and sharing the stream. But apart from those things, coming back to the match statistics, Team RRQ, I'm very disappointed. Apart from their performance, Team TSG and Team ONIC got a good comeback in the last match. And if we talk about the first match, Team NIGMA Galaxy got a pretty much good booyah. So let's see how will these teams perform. These are the big names of the game. So how will they perform in the upcoming matches?
Well, definitely, you have to look into that fact that how they will perform, because at this point, if we talk about the right strategy, it is coming up for sure. But eventually, quite a few teams like TSG, Army, or HOTSHOT, they are getting eliminated quite early. So have to look into that factor as well for these players. I believe the consistency should be there. On the other corner, let's talk about the beautiful map. Well, it's going to be the map of Kalahari. The desert comes in, and the fact that RRQ is already getting diminished quite a bit. Look at that. Ligelo is already knocked out. Abe has been already finished off. Pac-Man and Razor are trying to fight back, but Pac-Man also gets destroyed, and now it's Razor who has to completely fall back from the situation so that he can respawn his teammate. Well, he is in the recall area, but eventually he has to get the tokens so that he can respawn his teammates. Meanwhile, he also gets spotted. I believe that could be NIGMA Galaxy Galaxy because the dress is pretty much same as what NIGMA Galaxy was playing with in the first match. So let's see what happens eventually. Is it good NIGMA Galaxy or some other team? Have to look into that track record as well. Oh, the shots are coming up. Immediately Dewey comes in, and yes, it is NIGMA Galaxy which is going to wrap up this match quite early for a team known as a beautiful performance, I
RRQ.
believe. Yeah, RRQ to be precise. They tried the level best. RRQ KAZU tried the level best to actually perform and eventually stand tall in this matchup. But eventually, as you can see, that the fight is over for them. They have to move forward. They have to secure some good blows in the fourth one.
Well, the confidence of NIGMA Galaxy is totally being seen into their fights, and they eliminated a big name, a big competition of the game, Team RRQ, and I'm again disappointed. I was expecting, because there was a change in map, so I was expecting that Team RRQ or Team TSG could perform very good, but one of the team of what I was expecting got eliminated here only, and a good start by Team NIGMA Galaxy. They got the first finish point. Almost 33 players are still surviving out, and let's see how they perform out, what will be the strategy. But we are God, Stop, DU, Caramel, and almost all of four are still standing out. And right now this team is pretty much on loot focused, which is very much required, because if you have a good loot, if you have good utilities, if you're good have weapons and ammos, you could fight for a longer period of time. You should have those first aids as well to utilize those things on right point. But right now, talking about live locations, well, currently looking at Team TSG, they are almost about Mamamothus. Talking about SIS, they are almost on the sub X12th RRQ. And if we talk about HS Council Hall, and there we could see a drop clash as well between Team HS and Team DX, because both of the team are around Council Hall. In fact, Team TS and Team DRNX, well, there we could also see a drop clash. So what do you believe, later will team enjoy the drop clash at those early phases, or they'll wait to move on and get those position point?
But I guess they should actually wait at this point, because eventually if they're going to ignite it quite early, it can be quite risky for them. NIGMA Galaxy have already started quite well. They've got a lot of prize in their favor, 33 points, 33 players to be precise are surviving all of with NIGMA Galaxy. But if we talk about the live location, thanks to our production, we are actually getting every insight in that region as well. If we talk about ONIC and DX, they are pretty much close, and along with that, HOTSHOT is also close, because they are in the Council Hall region, and eventually 3 teams sitting in the same region. That can be quite chaotic. If we talk about the team known as RHK and TSG, and along from that DRANIX. These are the 3 teams which are surviving in the Mammoth region, so definitely there could be a fight in that region as well. If we talk about the Sub and the Maze, well, it is pretty much empty, because only one team is looting at that moment. Apart from that, this particular kind of grappling gun is actually going to help a lot. But apart from that, if we talk about Tanamo, this guy can be quite chaotic. Maybe Radicals, looking forward to see how far they can actually build in the game.
Well, of course, it becomes very much important how they play in the game, because this is the third match of the day, and almost 50% of the day will be completed by the end of this match. So if the teams haven't performed, for those who haven't performed yet, it becomes very much important that at least you should get on top 3 into 2 back-to-back matches to gain that confidence and to get that points, a pretty decent point in the points table at the end of the day. Because if you are at end game, if you're at those end table, I think it becomes very much difficult to start the day too, because you don't have those confidence at those right time. But talking about Team AV, well, Tanamo, it's Raimil, Vine, and Tritos, all of them are 4-man standing. They haven't got any finishes points. Still 33 players are standing around, and as I mentioned earlier, this desert map is a little slow map to move on with. Becomes little challenging for the team, becomes little difficult for the teams to play on with. But whenever there's difficulty, there's also opportunity to come back, and I believe few teams, I think this is the time to get a comeback for the game, for the day.
Well, definitely looking forward to see how far the comeback is going to go on, because the day has been started. So still, I believe the comeback might be awaited, but let's see. Let's figure out that how far it will actually go on at this point. I'm actually rooting for these teams, looking forward, and I believe the analysis is going to be that SES might be once again coming up to the close quarters of the second position or the runner position, because having the Booyah is not going to be that easy. Although you can survive yourself, and the grappling hook gun is also there. Look at that; they are actually using it quite beautifully, so that they can reach out to the places like the top ridges, because Kalar is a map where a lot of top ridges are there, a lot of areas where you have to climb, and having a grappling hook gun is actually going to help you a lot.
Well, of course, getting those weapons at those right time will always help you a lot. But the zone damage, this is going to be also very much crucial because if we talk about the first zone, I think it's almost very much similar. If we talk about the second zone, the damage will be increased, and as the zone shrinking gets more closer, the damage will be increased. But talking about the RNX, if I'm not wrong, all of the four players are outside of the zone, and each and every player is moving inside the zone to get that position. But if we talk about this zone, I think it's going to be not too far away. They are pretty much close to the zone. 28 players are still surviving out. If we talk about the finishers point, well, this team have lost one player and got that two finishers point. A pretty positive start to start on with, but what they believe is, are they one and only contender to win that match? Or if we talk about Team V Brothers, well, Rohit, Frago, Poison are still standing out. X God has been taken down, and this particular fight, I think, around those tank region going to be very much crucial. And there you go, first knock. If I'm not wrong, is trying to get that knock, and finally that knock has been created. A perfect glue wall was also been mentioned out. X God onto the other end has been taken down. An instant revival is very much needed. Will Team V Brothers be able to win this fight? Because in the last match they got eliminated at those early phases, and this match is very much important for them.
Well, the importance of this invitational season 2 is actually going to be quite high because there is a prize pool of $1,000. Apart from that, there is actually a glory of winning just one. The bragging rights is going to come in, and eventually you are fighting in Asia, representing your own region, to be precise, representing your own nation. So that is actually going to be a glorious moment, to be precise. Apart from that, I would talk about this particular guy, Sultan is trying to just get an insight. DEADROW is the team that he's trying to play with. And look at that. We have quite a few players that are surviving, but he won't be able to climb on that region, I believe. Apart from that, if he has the grappling hook gun, I believe that can actually help him a lot. Meanwhile, if we talk about Jaguar, he's sitting in the close quarters, he's sitting on the bottom lane so that he can actually get uh, the eliminations from the bottom region if anybody tries to form their situation from here. But Beavers on the other corner is also getting a lot of knockouts. That's amazing. 27 players. That's what I'm surviving. Okay, the respawn is also going to come in. That means we are going to get another beautiful set of 3 players back in the game.
Well, of course, this is going to be very much crucial and challenging for the team. If we talk about Team DRW, KD09, Sahil, Jaguar, and Sultan, four of them are still standing out, and Sultan has been eliminated out. Last three players standing, they haven't got any finish point. They are looking very much confident enough for this particular fight. Let's see how will they execute their plans, how will they execute their plottings right now. But talking about Team HS, so well, all of them are still four-man standing. They have got one finish point, a pretty much gap, a pretty much a distance between the players, between the teammates are being mentioned out, and that is very much good to be. This could be a strategy as well, Raider, as we talk about different teams, different players come with different strategy, and this is going to be very much important. But some amazing shots have been taken down by Yun 69, and if he could get those opening knocks, I totally agree, this could be very much depreciating for the opponents as well, and very much pressurizing for the opponents as well.
It's a one-tough battle, to be precise. They have to do everything that is actually there in the caliber so that they can survive. Meanwhile, if we talk about the match number, is match number 3. That means 3 more matches, to be precise, after this is going to be left. So although we are actually going to be quite chaotic at this point, I believe the teams are actually trying their level best to decipher the strategy at what the enemy is trying to play with. NIGMA Galaxy, ONIC on the other corner, the team which was able to get a beautiful booyah in the last one, is still struggling at this point. If we talk about SES, look at that. Blows are coming up. Rexy on the other corner gets taken down. Ray on the other corner, has been taken down. The glue walls have been appointed so that every angle gets a cover, but Ray is back in the game. The revival is pretty much fast as compared to the other battle royals where the revival takes a lot of time, and eventually at that time you can easily be taken down. But for now, the stance is looking amazing. Meanwhile, this particular matchup has to go a little bit far away. SES is still in a very open region, and that can be quite risky for the team.
Well, of course, this could be very much risky and challenging for the team as well. And if we look at the players, if we look at the teams, almost 28 players are standing right now, and teams and players are still struggling down to get those finishers point, to get those momentum. And within a snap from 28 to will move back towards those 27, and a fluctuation is being seen out. But apart from those things, if we look at death board alive players, well, team HS is four-man standing, team V Brothers is four-man standing, team NIGMA Galaxy, even this team is four-man standing. So this becomes very much huge and very much challenging for the team, because if we talk about team NIGMA Galaxy, there's a high probability chances if all of the players comes with those four-man advantage at those end zone. I'm pretty much sure there's a high probability chance that they could get this match and get the booyah as well.
I mean, indeed, the impact is actually on point at this point. If we talk about the technical difficulties, yes, we are facing some technical difficulties, but stay with us at this point because 8 more days to be precise of this carnage is going to get followed. So I'm actually rooting for them at this point. Let's see what happens. And if we talk about G-Ray, well, he's surviving. Ray on the other corner is pretty much knocked out. I don't think so that revival is going to be that easy. But if the revival comes in, that would be lovely. And yeah, the revival is here. That means SES, to be precise, from Indonesia is absolutely helpful for the teammates. But Ray once again gets taken down. This guy is particularly getting knocked out quite a bit of times. And finally, the equalizer comes in. Ray has been finished off. On the other corner, Trio decides that enough is enough. We are also going to put a shot on them, and yes, the knockout comes in, but is it going to be an easy finish? That is the biggest question. For now, team is remaining with 3-man power. Bara is actually on the back foot, if I'm not wrong. If we talk about DRANIX, the 4-man power still survives.
Well, of course, he'll still survive on. And if we talk about Team ONIC, well, Lanebot, Sana, Mal, PIW, well, this team is totally playing phenomenal because they have got those 5 finishes point, and yet they haven't lost a single player. So this is the confidence, this is the communication, this is the coordination between the team, and the aggression is totally being reflected into their kill points as well. But talking about V brothers, they are also 4-man standing, but they have secured only and only 1 finish point, going for the second one, still trying their level best to get those some few more finishes point. Some glue walls from both ends have been created out. Now it's gonna be that much easy, and connection is pretty much good to move on with. They are going closer to the zone, and they are very much attentive out. But there you go on to the another end. If we look at Poison, he has taken amazing spray to move on with. A perfect area of glue ball has been created out. This is what we call the end zone chaos. 5 finishes point has been secured by V brothers. 24 players are surviving out. And what do you think, Raider, will they able to get inside the zone? Because it's very much challenging for many of the teams because they're still struggling out to get inside the zone.
When you're that much aggressive, I believe your should I say perspective is going to be pretty much clear for the enemy as well. So you might be on a risky turn. NIGMA Galaxy once again gets eliminated. On the other corner, HOTSHOT for the best time. For the first time to be precise, are surviving till now. That's amazing to be precise, but let's see how far their survival is going to be there. Well, the shotguns are there. They're trying to just reciprocate and put down as many as blows as possible. Sika on the other corner is about to go down. And yes, he has been taken down. HOTSHOT 18 and Union 69 are the 2 members which are still surviving, but the knockouts are still coming from Union's corner. Sika on the other corner is demanding the revival, but is it going to be a possible one? Well, the HOTSHOT is here. He is going to res out his teammates so that he will be back in the game. Glue walls have to be pointed as fast as possible so that they can survive. But look at that. Sika once again gets taken down. ASU also gets finished off. That's amazing. Oh, ASU is remaining. That's lovely. I believe the respawn is there from his corner. TSG Army, meanwhile, gets eliminated just like NIGMA Galaxy is eliminated. So this shows that how far the competition is evolving. Teams which are getting booyahs are actually getting eliminated. Teams which are known for getting booyahs like TSG are getting eliminated. Teams which were not even known like HS to be precise in the Indian region or in the Asian region as much as they are actually getting known at this point are actually getting some good survival rates. So this is good enough. But DRANIX, look at their kills. 13 kills to be precise. B-Bros gets 10 finishes in their favor. And if we talk about HS, they have got 9 frags as well on their corner. That means they are pretty much close to a glorious victory in this matchup.
Well, I believe they're totally playing phenomenally to move on with. We look at those finishes point. Well, Vibros, they have almost got those 10 finishes point. Talking about in DRNX, they have also got 13 finishes point. And totally sort of aggression is being seen out. And finally, a 1v1 is witnessed out. Union 69 has been taken down. Shot 18 has been taken down, but an instant revival could be delivered to HOTSHOT 18. But Union 69 still struggling on to get those revival. SES ALFAINK team has been eliminated. Last, if I'm not wrong, last 3 teams and last 11 players are standing out. If we talk about the competition, a 3v4v3 scenario could be totally witnessed, and a challenging scenario for both of Team HS and Team T Bros because both of the teams are having 3-man strong advantage. And if we talk about man advantage, well, DRNX, they have got those 4-man strong advantage. And right now, V Bros is down to 2, and this is becoming very much difficult for this team.
Indeed, it is coming up as a difficult fight for them for now because if we talk about the situations that they are actually facing, I believe the only team which is having the right advantage is going to be Team DRANIX. And look at that, they are actually going to eliminate V-Bros. And yes, V-Bros is out of equation. This shows that they are pretty much chaotic to be precise. But on the other corner, another set of knockout comes in. I believe DRANIX is going to be the team which is for sure going to get the third booyah out of this Asia Invitational Season 2. Looking forward to it. Some throwables are going to be used. That means the grenades are actually going to get used up, and eventually the grenades are making a huge dent in that particular fight. The glue walls are still being appointed. Well, it is not going to cut the deal to be precise. Glue walls be as many as glue walls that you want to appoint, but with that, the fights are coming up in the close quarter, and another beautiful KO comes in. This is aimbot to be precise, which is actually getting a lot of blows. Name is bot, but eventually the performance is like a pro at this point. But apart from that, from the back angle, there we go. We have got another guy with that A8 BD, which was able to actually get a lot of damage. With that hotshot, meanwhile, becomes the last man standing of his team, and the runner-up of this matchup is going to be HOTSHOT. And if I talk about the champions, if I talk about the guys who are actually going to get the booyah in this particular matchup, well, that was absolutely amazing from the corner. A huge recommendation of the performances is coming up, and I believe that was Team DRANIX who got the beautiful booyah in this one.
Of course, Team DRANIX got a beautiful booyah to watch out, and as you mentioned, the team played phenomenally. If we talk about, if I'm not wrong, the finishers point, well, they almost got 17 to 18 finishers point into their backpack, which is totally phenomenal to move on with. They were almost very much aggressive. They were just phenomenal to watch at. I'm totally feeling speechless because this many finishes point into their favor was very much hard to maintain out, but yet they could show a very good comeback. If we talk about the first match and second match, Team DRANIX was not into the competition, but apart from those things, I was really shocked and very surprised to see them into the third map. Whenever we talk about the Kalahari map, well, this is what we call a map of comeback.
Indeed, the map of comeback has actually resulted quite a bit of an amazing instance, and the team which is actually going to get this match in their favor is going to be DRANIX. An amazing performance to be precise, but let's see how far this performance is going to get built, because for now the battle has just been started. Only 3 matches have been passed. 3 more matches are actually going to be there for the day, and after that 5 more days of the plains are going to be there, and out of these plains only 9 teams are going to get qualified, and those 9 teams are actually going to face off one fan favorite team and 2 other teams, I believe. Whatever the equation is going to be on, let me remind you once again, the competition is actually going to take a toll on us. So definitely rooting for that competition for this particular fight up. Let me remind you how the grand finals is going to happen. Top 9 teams from plains, that means this stage, are going to go in that grand finals, and after that 2 underdog teams are actually going to get invited in that particular grand finals. One fan favorite team is also going to be there in the grand finals. In grand finals, 7 matches per day will happen. I believe next era is going to be the another map which will be added, I believe. Just like Sanok is actually added in the game of BGMR or PUBG, whatever. If we talk about grand final schedule, it will be on 18th, 19th, and 28th. The prize pool is going to be pretty much amazing. That is of $1,000. First position will get you $500. Second position, $250. Third position, $150. And the fourth position, I believe, is going to get you $50 again. The MVP is also going to get the $50. That means MVP is also not going to be empty-handed. On the other corner, if we talk about the point system, hashtag 1 is going to get 12 points, hashtag 2, 9 points, hashtag 3, 8 points, hashtag 4, 7 points, hashtag 5, 6 points, hashtag 6, 5 points. And if we talk about hashtag 7, 4 points from the corner, hashtag 8, 3 points, hashtag 9, 2 points. From hashtag 10, I believe only 1 point is going to get delivered, and hashtag 11 and 12, they will go empty-handed. And if I talk about the tie, if the score chart is actually going to get tied, first of all, the ranking is actually going to get considered by the number of booyahs, and after that, the number of total kills, and the survival ranking in the final round. So these are the 3 consecutive criteria which are going to be taken place, which are going to be taken in consideration while actually giving the crediman, which are going to be considered while giving the positions to be precise in the tiebreaker round. So looking forward to see how far it actually is going to help them, because 3 teams have taken the booyah, 3 different teams to be precise. First of all, it was Team NIGMA Galaxy, which was quite amazing. After that, we saw ONIC eSports doing the same, and then now it's DRANIX, which is coming back with a glorious fight. First set of this day is pretty much over. First half of this day is pretty much over. Now we are moving up to the second phase. That is going to bring back again a repetition of these 3 maps: Bermuda, Purgatory, and Kalahari. In this respective order is going to come for us, and then we'll witness how far this match will help out. These maps to be precise, will help out these teams.
Again, we'll start from the starting as well. If we talk about the first map, it's gonna be of Bermuda, which is a by default map to chase out with. But is there any chance that Team Nigma Galaxy got the first booyah in the first match of Bermuda? Well, is there any chance, Raider, that they could get the booyah again? Or if we talk about the second, if we talk about the 5th match again, which is of a Purgatory. Well, if we talk about Team ONIC eSports, they got the booyah in third. If we talk about Team DRANIX, they got Booyah with those 17 finishes point to the favor. So this becomes very much difficult and this becomes very much challenging for each and every team. Is there any chance to get a back-to-back Booyah, or to get a second Booyah of the day? Because there are many other teams, but they aren't performing up to the mark. But yet we could see some surprises and we could see some shocking results as well. So I'm pretty awaited to watch out that which team will get that Booyah in this match, or any other team will retain their same legacy. Will the team ONIC Esports, if we talk about team RRQ, I'm still waiting for their comeback as well, and in fact team TSG as well, because three matches have been passed out and still they haven't secured a good position and a good finish point.
Yes, of course, there are a lot of possibilities that these fights are actually going to come in, and eventually a lot of impact will be there. But the only thing that is actually trying to just boggle around in my mind is going to be how far these guys are actually going to push each other. Because at this point, if we talk about the competition, it's just not going to go down. The competition is for sure going to rise quite a bit, and looking forward to see how far it will help teams like NIGMA Galaxy to come back. TSG Army getting diminished quite early is also going to come back quite strong. I believe very soon these kind of things will help them to actually come back even stronger. But the only thing which will get in their way is going to be the rest remaining 11 teams. But for now, I believe another set of matches is going to start. But before that, let me remind you the overall standings is going to come in, and it's DRANIX Esports which is going to be on top with 64 amazing points. Three matches that they've played, one booyah coming from their corner, 35 kills, 29 is the particular score of the positions, if I'm not wrong. And on the corner, SES is going to be the team which is runner up for now. And if we talk about the regions that these guys are representing, let me remind you once again that Team DRANIX is the team which is representing the Indonesian region. And if we talk about SES ALFAINK, they are also representing the Indonesian region. And if we talk about Vibros, that is the team which is representing the Nepal region. That means the top two teams are coming from Indonesia. Huge bump from Indonesian's team.
Well, of course, there's a huge bump from Indonesian team, but if we talk about the Indian team, TSG Army, they're at the sixth position with those 26 total points. Yet very down, a big difference could be created between the first and the sixth position as well. So it's gonna be pretty much difficult and challenging for the teams and players as well. Let's see how will they move on, or what will be their strategies in the upcoming matches as well. Because after seeing this point table, I totally agree that now teams should show up pretty good comeback here, especially if we talk about team RRQ or team TSG. We are the audience is still waiting on, the fan is still waiting on to show a pretty good comeback, but I'm very eagerly to see a very good retention of other teams as well. If we talk about team ONIC Esports, or we talk about team NIGMA Galaxy, there's a high probability chances with that confidence, with that manpower, they could also get the second booyah of the day.
Well, definitely the second boy of the day is actually going to come in. I believe the reputations might actually come in, but for now, one thing is pretty much secured, that the calibration, the aggression is everything which is working out, be it Vibros, be it HOTSHOT. HOTSHOT was able to actually give a huge comeback in this particular matchup, because you saw in the map of Kalahari how far they came. They were pretty much close to getting the booyah in their favor, but eventually they were solo man standing, and that's how they were taken down. But now look at that, we have got another beautiful fight, and this is actually going to be Lidoma President's Asia Invitational Season number 2. FIFA Max is the game which we are witnessing at this point, and the match is starting again in the area of Bermuda. Bhima Shakti Strip is actually in the center region. Apart from that, Clock Tower is going to cross over. Katulitseva is actually going to be there, which is pretty much close to the flight path. So people can jump in that region. So looking forward to see who will jump in where. And for now, if we talk about the fights, Bermuda, the fights have been ignited. 45 players are still surviving, but NIGMA Galaxy is getting circumcised quite a bit. But look at that. Jew on the other corner was able to get a beautiful knockout. But eventually, will that knockout turn out in a finish is the biggest question.
I don't think this is a good start for Nigma Galaxy, because Caramel and Stop, both of them have been eliminated, last two players standing, and they have got a single finish point. So I don't think for a single point elimination of two players is worth it. And if we talk about Dew, well, he's also barely surviving on those few HP and few more good connection on Dew. He will be also get eliminated right now. He's trying to get those hide and seek position. Will he able to get that finish point? Will he able to challenge his enemies or his opponents? But right now at those early phases, we could see a spank over there, because 38 players are only surviving. And if we talk about the lobby, well, almost 40 to 45 players we start with the we start the match. well, within a snap, almost 3 to 4, even 5 to 6 players have been eliminated. But apart from those things, looking at you, Team Enigma Galaxy, they need to come back, and to show that comeback, right now they need to get inside the zone, get those position point, maintain the holdings, maintain the position, and there you go. You can see a hide and seek scenario. Players are running around, but yet Dio is not taking those shots because he knows that taking the shots right now, and if that shot doesn't make a good connection out of it, you could surely be eliminated.
Well, the eliminations are going to be the byproduct. The main thing that everybody wants to get is the position points, is the finish ones to be precise. So definitely looking forward to see how far it is going to help them. Neymar Galaxy on the other corner is actually getting surrounded by a lot of players. ONIC on the other corner, the team which was able to get the second boot of this day particularly, is trying to bounce back at this point. Gardu is there, Teo is there, Puya is there, Visa is surviving. And for now, 39 players are surviving at this moment, so that's good enough. But the save zone is shrinking, so they have to actually focus on the rotations as well. Fourth match has been started, and with that, another set of beautiful, brutal attacks are actually going to be there. For me, the best part is that the competition is just evolving quite a bit in the every single match that is happening for now.
The competition is evolving around, and 40 players are still standing out. And if we talk about Team ONIC Esports, they haven't got a start yet. They're still searching for those finishers point at those early phases, and it's going to be pretty challenging for the team because some teams are having pressure to get that comeback, some teams are having pressure to get that retention, and even the teams at those mid stages are trying to get that booyah. So each and every team has having different scenarios of pressure, different scenarios of challenges to watch out. But Team ONIC Esports, well, there you go. Finally, they're coming with that 1v1. Tayo has been taken down, and within a snap, he'll get eliminated. Gardu has been picked off. Visa, well, the whole responsibility is onto the shoulder of Visa and Pua. Let's see how they perform out. Some amazing glue walls being created, some hide and seek scenarios, some run and gun gameplays have been witnessed. That will he able to get that clutch? Will he able to get that pick? No, I don't think it's going to be that possible. A creative flank from the opponents have been taken down. Pua, the lone ranger, the last player survive for the team. He'll fall back. He'll get that position point for the team, and this is a good start. I think this was a clever move from Pua.
Well, indeed, the clever moves, the clever fights, everything is coming up at this point. We have got Pac-Man at this moment. RRQ KAZU is still surviving. Legalu on the other corner is also there, so definitely looking forward. Oh, the respawn has been done. Again, we are back to 37 players. That's amazing. RRQ KAZU is back with the whole manpower in the favor. That's amazing. If we talk about the live locations, thanks to our production, we are going to get an insight on that. Bermuda is the map, remember, guys. But if we talk about the places where a lot of should I say ruckus is going to be there, I believe every single area is pretty much occupied with some teams, but eventually observatory is the area where two teams are surrounding each other. That is going to be HOTSHOT and Vibros as well. So these two teams can be quite team with the hustle, with the kind of, let's say, aggression. So looking forward to see, is it going to help them a lot or not? Meanwhile, if we talk about SES, well, they have been eliminated at the 12th rank, so that's a sad side to be precise. Mil is the area where RHK is going to be there from Bangladesh. And if we talk about TSG Army, well, they are in the Katulitsuva.
Well, of course, all of the teams are onto the right position, onto the right areas, getting the holes right now at those early phases. And coming back to Team DRANIX, well, last match they played very beautifully and they got a pretty decent finishes point. I'll not say decent, a very giant finishes point to move on with. And finally, it's a Team SCSA. They'll get eliminated from this match. 39 players, one finish point has been secured by V Pros, and I'm expecting that in this match they'll get those booyahs or top 3 position, because in every match Team V Pros are coming on those top 5 position and then losing their players at those end phase and getting those pressures. I think they would learn some, they would get some mistakes, but with that mistake they would learn and get a good comeback out of that. But Rohit, Dragon, Poison, X God, all of them are 4 men standing. No finishes point yet, going with that very slow and steady approach, but yet you have to get those finishes point very fast, because you have to maintain the balance of plays point and finishes point at the same time, because getting place point without finishes point, I didn't think that will work out for a longer period of time, for a long run. But a Team TSG, finally this team is again coming with that hold, coming with that slow and steady approach. Some players are still offline, some players can be seen AFK, but let's see how for long they will go with that slow and steady approach.
Definitely looking forward to see. At this point, if we talk about DX, Davon 25 is surviving, Diamond is there, Heaven is there, Everybody is just trying their level best to deliver what is required. Oh, the shots might actually come in. Yes, 63 is the damage that he's going to give on, but eventually that was the damage which was on the flesh. So that means I believe the West is not there for him. The HP is getting depleted, so that's good. But for for Delta X to be precise, to push forward, I believe it can be quite critical because they're actually on the edge of the zone, so they should just reside here for now, and they can actually cross over by the ridges of the river. From the banks of the river, I believe it can help them. But Diamond is the one which is actually coming up within close quarter, so that means we are actually in a fight. Very soon, Team Delta X is actually going to come up in a troublesome fight, but nobody is having the grappling hook gun. But apart from that, in just 1 minute, I believe the respawn is actually going to be done. DX Diamond with that machete is trying to actually move forward. He's trying to be a little bit more sneaky, but he don't know. He's not aware of the enemy. But Heaven on the other corner also gets focused, also gets taken down, and that's how Team Delta X is on the back foot once again.
39 players are still standing out. 2 finishes point have been secured. A pretty good, decent start is maintained by Team OX. And there you go, glue walls have been created. And finally, an amazing knock was put forward. Diamond and 125. Well, these are the last 2 players standing. The whole responsibilities of Team DX is onto their shoulders. And let's see, will they able to deliver the same what is expected out? But beneath those things, pretty decent zone shrink is also being witnessed out. Pretty decent zone shrink is also being mentioned out. If we look at the long range, mid range fight, well, I don't think Team DRW will able to take those long range fight from here as well. They should get some creative flanks. They should prepare for those surprise attacks, and multiple fights could seem to be at those multiple regions. Talking about NIGMA Galaxy, well, Stop is looking unstoppable. 5 God, well, onto the other end. Each and every player is trying to get those knocks, and finally, within those counter attacks, Stop will be taken down, and an instant revival is very much needed right now.
Well, revival is needed. He's on the rooftop. He can easily get a lot of damage, but the triple kill comes in. That's amazing. NIGMA Galaxy is still surviving. That is lovely. Pretty much a decisive factor coming up. They have got a lot of frags as well, but Few God is actually going to revive his teammate so that he will be back in the game, although they have to just eventually get the closure. DEADROW on the other corner also been eliminated. That's interesting. TSG Army is trying to be a little bit more chaotic, and if I talk about AV Radicals, they are actually trying to perform a lot of aggression on the team, which is known as ONIC, if I'm not wrong. The KOs are coming up, and ONIC, apart from that, are actually struggling a lot. We have got Kardu, Tayo, Pua, and Visa. They are outside the zone. They are actually getting to the vending machine so that they can loot out and eventually get as much as of things that as possible. But look at the HP; it is getting depleted quite harshly. That shows that the zone damage is pretty much maximized.
Of course, the zone damage is pretty much maximized, and at this point of time, this match I believe is the best match of the day right now till now, because as you can see, a lot of competition is witnessed out. Talking about Team RRQ, Pac-Man, Resort, it's like all of them are 3 men standing. They haven't got any finish point yet, but they have lost the first player Abe onto their side. It could be a little bit demotivating, but they should also get inside the zone. If we talk about Death Vote, well, Team DRANIX, 4 man standing with those 3 finishes point. Team HS, 4 men standing with those 5 finishes point. Team TSG, well, they are also 4 men standing with those 4 finishes points. So the number 4 is pretty much lucky for Team TSG in this particular match. Let's see, will they able to get that position 4 in this particular game? This is gonna be very much crucial for the team and crucial for the players as well. But 35 players are standing around, and let's see what will be the upcoming stances.
Well, for checking the stances, I believe one thing is actually going to be quite critical is going to be teams like DRANIX, which have got the 3 man power, which have got the 4 man power. TSG is also surviving with the 4 man power, but the team which is most aggressive at this point is going to be Team Delta X. They have got 7 frags in their favor, and still their 4 man power is residing. That is lovely. But TSG on the other corner is getting a lot of blows. DRNX Mal has actually secured 13 finishes. I don't know 13 finishes from one single match or 13 finishes from the last 3 matches that have been played. Well, we have to look into that factor as well. Very soon we'll get to a closure in that particular area. But for now, if we talk about AV Tanamo, he's the last man standing, but gets finished by TSG's blow. And this is Legend from the back foot is also getting surprised. Look at that. It's NIGMA Galaxy come from the back angle, I believe, which is coming. And with that, TSG Black is actually going to be with the with the skateboard. He's trying to just jump in and eventually go a little bit close to his teammates. He's in a very open area. So when he gets down, I believe he can be finished off. But I believe on that particular platform, I guess a lot of players are hiding as well.
Well, of course, on that particular area, there are a lot of hiding places, and as we can see, some glue walls have been also been created. 26 players are surviving. Around three finishes point has already been secured by Team Nigma Galaxy, and Caramel onto the other end. He has been taken down. I don't think there's any chance that Team Nigma Galaxy could get confronted out, but right now TSG Army, unluckily, they will be getting eliminated in this particular match as well. And there comes the phenomenal showcase of teamwork and a particular jump shot. Finally, Team Nigma Galaxy is ruling out the game. One finish point, Team ONIC Esports, well, they will also get be eliminated. And right now, we're almost standing with 7 teams, 18 players, 5 finishes point into the hand of Team RRQ, and this could be the match where they could show a pretty good comeback.
Well, indeed, the comeback is something which we all are waiting for at this point. If we talk about RRQ, also gets taken on. Rifat is also out of equation now. Mithil is going to be the last one standing. He's actually trying his best to just gather around and eventually get a beautiful region to survive. But as soon as he lands, he's actually getting surprised quite a bit. And with that, Team Delta X is also going to find him out. And just like that, Delta X will be able to eliminate him. And that's a great performance that is coming up. Scar is in the hand. That means a beautiful gun to be precise, but he changes it with a beautiful sniper rifle. That can actually help him a lot. Again, the shift is actually going to come in. But with that, another double kill comes in. Foxin is pretty much close to a very tormenting performance to be precise. 12 is the right amount of players that are surviving, including the 4 members standing, that is from Team Delta X, which is good enough. But Haven, which was about to go for the rooftop area, has been taken down. That's amazing. Haven won't be able to get any kind of revival if I'm not wrong, but Nigma Galaxy, they are surviving with the 4-man power of their own. That means a 4v4 chaotic fight is going to come upon us. On the other corner, if we talk about teams like HOTSHOT, well, they have been eliminated. And if we talk about teams like Nigma Galaxy, they are on the bottom corner trying to take a fight. Look at that. That battle is actually forming quite tough. First aid kits are actually getting utilized. We have got glue walls being appointed so that they can actually get a defensive cover. That's amazing, to be precise. But Dew on the other corner still tries to figure out, well, the knockout which was there is going to get finished off so that they can just collect their finishes. DRANIX meanwhile gets eliminated. Well, before that, I guess we were talking about DRANIX as a very chaotic team, but now look at that. DRANIX is already out of equation and somebody is just trying to actually camp on that particular platform. That's amazing.
Well, I was talking about Team RRQ, and there's a high probability chance that right now, right here, Team RRQ could get that chicken dinner, and especially talking about Team Nigma Galaxy as well. Well, chances are there as well where they could get, the second booyah of the day and second booyah of the game. But some amazing glue walls have been created out, some amazing defensive covers have been created out, and let's see how will they move forward. What is their plan to get on with? What is their strategy to get on with? And there you go. From both sides, glue wall is being created. 7 players, 4 finishes point already into the favor of Team Nigma Galaxy. And if I'm not wrong, finally, Team Nigma Galaxy will get that chicken dinner, if I'm not wrong, Raider.
Well, indeed, I believe it was an absolute brilliant fight to be precise, but now the deal is done. The fight is pretty much over. And another beautiful game coming in the hands of Nigma Galaxy. I believe with that, we can say that it is a team which can turn a lot of tables in their favor. Meanwhile, Nitesh is saying Hindi cast. I believe if you are not enjoying the Hindi casting, well, I would love to say that give them time. I believe you are actually going to get the color of that Hindi casting. And apart from that, if you are enjoying the English casting, well, thank you for saying that. And make sure to actually support Lidoma Asia for bringing us as a talent on this particular screen. And yes, Nigma Galaxy from Thailand is actually going to be the team which is actually going to get the beautiful booyah in their favor back and forth. And I hope so. Everybody is enjoying what the factor is coming about, how the fights are actually getting developed. 12 teams were there, and eventually I was assuming that we might see 6 different teams fighting for the battle, 6 different booyahs in their particular perspective. I didn't thought that a repetition would actually come of things at this point because we are still getting energized. We are still getting just the glimpses of the fights to be precise. So yeah, I believe for the team known as Nigma Galaxy, they did an outstanding feat, and eventually with that they are standing tall at this point, having 2 back-to-back good booyahs. Not just back-to-back, to be honest, 2 booyahs in this day particularly, back-to-back in a manner where they have played the Bermuda map. First of all, the first match to be precise, in that map as well, they got the booyah, and second Bermuda map that they played, they also got the booyah. So that shows that they are actually getting the booyahs in this particular matchup. So every 11 teams to be precise, they have to be pretty much decisive about the fact that they have to shut down the team Nigma Galaxy in the map of Bermuda so that they can actually have a chance of this map, so that they can actually get the chunk of this match. Delta X was very close to be precise of getting the booyah, but then again they didn't have the right kind of call outs. The knockouts were coming up back and forth for them, and they were unable to just push back the team known as Nigma Galaxy, and that's how Nigma Galaxy was able to conquer them.
Well, at some point of time, onto those top five teams, if we talk about ONIC Esports and Team RRQ, I was believing that there's a chance that these two teams even could get that booyah as well. If we talk about Team RRQ, well, I was believing that they weren't with those man advantage, only two players were
Right.
surviving, but at those almost, if I'm not wrong, fourth position, they got eliminated. And if we talk about ONIC Esports, they were having the man advantage, but just due to some communication and coordination problem, they got eliminated. But if we talk about Nigma Galaxy, they just played phenomenally. They almost got the second booyah of the day. And as I mentioned, with the end of first match, I think that was totally true to watch out. The Team Nigma Galaxy is getting the second booyah in the map of Bermuda. So, what do you think, Raider, in the another map, Purgatory? If we talk about the Team Oniki Sports, and if we talk about Kalahari map, if we talk about DRANIX Esports, so will they able to retain their legacy? Will they able to retain their booyah in the upcoming last two matches of the day?
I mean, the possibilities are there, but that doesn't mean it is going to be an easy match for them. Even for Nigma Galaxy, it was not an easy match to get the booyah once again, because you saw in the starting battle, Nigma Galaxy, two good members from their particular corner was already been eliminated. They were very close to getting eliminated as a team, as a whole team to be precise, but they were able to come back quite stronger. They were able to respawn their teammates. They were able to recall them, and after the recall was done, they were able to have a beautiful advantage of the zone. They were able to have a beautiful area in which they were surviving, and everybody was trying to push onwards on them, be it DRANIX or RHK or HOTSHOT or some other team like Delta X. Everybody was getting decimated from the corner. I mean, you have to have some kind of boost in terms of
Yeah.
motivation, and that's what I guess Team Nigma Galaxy had after getting decimated. They were able to respawn and bring back the glory for the team, but still, we have to remember the team which was on top after three matches was some other team. It was from
It's
Indonesia. I'm unable to
DRANIX.
remember the name. Okay, DRANIX was the team which was on top, to be precise. So that was amazing. But now moving up ahead, I believe we are going to witness the overall standing. And yes,
Oh.
Label DRANIX Esports is still at top position. But if I talk about Nigma Galaxy, they're not that far away after having two good booyahs, just shy of 4 points. That's what Nigma Galaxy is. DRANIX Esports is actually going to go down very soon if Nigma Galaxy maintains their consistency. But if I talk about DRANIX Esports in terms of their appreciation, I believe they are not going to go down that easy, because look at that. After having only one booyah, they are still trying to climb back in the leaderboard. They are still on the top of the leaderboard. They are still the uncharted um, kings of this particular world, standing after playing four matches.
And typically, if we look at the performance of both of the teams, well, Nigma Galaxy favorable map is over. If we talk about Bermuda, well, Bermuda is over of Nigma Galaxy, and they ended up with the second position. If we talk about DRANIX, well, the map of Kalahari is still awaited. If I'm not wrong, the favorite map of Team DRANIX, because they secured those 17 to 19 finishes point in the last game of Kalahari. So, well, I believe when the whole day is completed and when the map of Kalahari is completed, let's see what will be the overall standings. But right now, I'll request my each and every audience to please show the love by hitting that like button, subscribing this channel, and sharing the stream with your friends, with your mates, and showing your support. But without wasting any time, very soon we'll move towards the fifth match of the day, which is of Purgatory. And I believe this map gonna be the game changing map of the day, because a game changing match of the day, because whenever we talk about the second last map, players go all in attack. Players, try some new strategy. If the teams are failing on, there are many teams who are failing on. So let's see how they perform out.
For now, the performance is the only thing which matters at this point, because the prize pool of
Yep.
$1,000, apart from that, the bragging rights of winning this Asia Invitational Season 2 is actually going to be quite amazing to be precise. And the teams which are getting a little bit more closer is going to be Nigma Galaxy, because they're actually having a good, decent amount of booyahs. But then DRANIX Esports, they are pretty much consistent in every single match, although they are not getting the booyahs that much as
Yep.
compared to Nigma Galaxy, but they are still on top. They are still leading the Nigma Galaxy with 4 points. That is absolutely amazing to be precise. But coming up ahead, Purgatory and Kalahari will sum up the day. Two good matches are actually going to come upon us, and eventually in those two matches, we'll get an insight that how far the establishment is going to help them out, what kind of carnage is going to come upon us, what kind of decimation will be delivered. And everybody who's on the live chat, make sure to actually go ahead and like. Either you are supporting V-Pros from Nepal, or you are supporting RHK from Bangladesh, you are supporting whatever team, whichever reason you are actually from. This is an esports scenario, and show your esports spirit, to be precise. Go ahead and like the stream so that we can bring back these kind of tournaments for you guys. And eventually, these are the few tournaments which will give you an insight that how your best teams that are representing your region are able to perform, how they are able to be so chaotic. Because before that, if I'm not wrong, it was there where we had Asia Cup, we had different regional cups as well. From those regional cups, the teams which are able to conquer or be on top were actually invited in this particular season, the Invitational Season 2. 18 teams are here right now. Let me remind you once again the whole situation. 18 teams are here, 6 teams each in the group, 3 groups to be precise, group A, B, and C. But today, for the 10th Jan, we are actually witnessing group B and C head to head. After that, on the 12th Jan, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
tomorrow is going to be a holiday, if I'm not wrong. And after that, on the 12th, we are going to witness the carnage, which will be coming in front of our screens with group A. So that would be lovely to be precise. Apart from that, only 9 teams are going to get qualified from this situation, from this particular matchup, and the rest remaining teams are actually going to go out of the equation. I believe either you win it or you learn from it. That is my meta. If you lose the match, then again you are actually going to gain an insight that what happened wrong, what went wrong, to be precise, from your corner. So you can easily climb back quite a bit.
Well, as you said, if you win, you'll win a lot of things. If you lose, you'll learn a lot of things. Losing is not, you'll always a lot of you'll lose prize money or something, but you'll learn a lot of things. You'll learn from your mistakes. But keeping these things aside, coming back to our audience, I'll request each and everyone, guys. Our like target for the day will be of 300 likes. Or no, we already reached 300 likes. So our like target for the day will be of 500 likes, guys. So I'll request each and everyone to please show your support as you showed to get those 368 likes onto the right side. But beneath those things, Raider, very soon we'll be going on to the fifth match of the day, which is of Purgatory. And I believe, is there any chances of ONIC Esports again getting that second booyah of the day? Because this becomes very much difficult for the team. But I'm expecting this time Team RRQ and Team TSG as well. I'm expecting them from past 2 matches, but yet they're unable to perform. Let's see, will Team RRQ or Team TSG will be showing that same consistency or the legacy for which they are known for?
It's going to be a tough battle, to be precise, but then again, I believe there is a credibility. TSG was able to survive quite a bit, so looking forward to see how far TSG is going to build their battle. If we talk about RRQ, for that angle, I believe for that team, to be precise, tough times are coming up. But I believe after their analysis is done, second day, day number 2, to be precise, that they are going to fight is going to be a little bit more fruitful for them. But today's day, it's a little bit more shaky. The maps are changing. They're coming back and forth, trying to actually hustle around, trying to actually develop a lot of fights in their favor. But still, the only thing that is missing around is going to be the synergy. They're unable to respawn their teammates, recall their teammates. They are unable to give the backup to their teammates. So for that reason, I believe RRQ is actually on a very shaky start from the start of this particular tournament. But still, looking forward to see how far they are actually going to build their synergy, how far they're going to come back. Because still, it is not too late. Well, 4 matches have been passed off, if I'm not wrong. Fifth one is going to come in very soon. But still, 5 more days of the planes are left. You can easily come back quite a bit.
Of course, so still almost 5 days of this phase is particularly left. And if we talk about the grand finals, well, there are also 3 days left out. So pretty long time has been left out. A pretty giant event can be seen around. So I'll request everyone to please go to hit that subscribe button and click that bell icon as well, because whenever we come live, we'll come live for another 5 days, and after that another 3 days. This is not it. We'll be coming up with another few tournaments as well. So you need to be get ready. So tighten your seat belt with the Lidoma Esports, because this is the season 2 and we could be seeing season 3 very soon as well. So showing your support, showing your moral boost will always give a positive side to the organization, to the management, to the caster, to the production team, each and everybody. But apart from those things, I think this is taking a pretty lot of time to start the match, Reader.
It happens when you have actually teams coming from all over, from Asia. I guess some technical difficulties could be there. The ping issues could be
Yeah.
coming up. Some technical glitches could be coming. So that is why the lobby is taking time to form. But eventually, when the lobby will be ready, we will see 15 straight minutes of chaos, 15 deadly minutes of actually amazing fights. So looking forward to it. When the match gets started, I believe we'll get an insight very soon. For now, only thing that we can actually pray for is going to be the fair competition, is going to be you guys loving the competition, to be precise. And if you are actually keen on watching the Hindi casting, you can actually go on Loco, search the Lidoma Asia, and then you will get to see what is happening in that particular language. You can actually see the same game that is happening on the English stream. But then again, if you want to actually get an insight in terms of another language, you can actually go for that stream as well. That would be lovely for you. But at this point, if we talk about this particular page, remember guys, only 9 teams are going to get qualified for the grand finals, out of which The best top 9 teams, to be precise, are actually going to be there, and the rest remaining 3 teams. Out of those 3 teams, 2 are going to be the underdog teams, and one is actually going to be the team known as fan favorite team. So even if your team, which is the fan favorite one, to be precise, if you love it, if it gets disqualified somehow, if they are unable to show their talent somehow in this particular planes, they can easily come back with your vote, with your support, with your love, with your share, with your appreciation, to be precise, back in the grand finals and showcase their talent once again. And then I believe everything will depend on your team, because all you can do is vote for them, bring them back in the game. That's all will be absolutely amazing. But the next match is actually going to be Purgatory, if I'm not wrong. The map of 3 islands, the map where a lot of bridges are there, to be precise, if I'm not wrong. Close to 4 or 5 bridges are there. A lot of areas are actually getting tallied. And look at that, the flight path. If we talk about the flight path, it is actually starting from the lumber mill. Campsite was there, Brasilia was in the center, and apart from that, the crossroads are at the end.
Well, of course, if we talk about the fly path, a very decent fly path, a diagonal fly path from those southeastern parts of the region and ending towards those northwestern parts of the region could be witnessed out. Some amazing drop clashes could be seen around those, central parts of the region, and zone is also favoring the fly path. So I don't think this would be difficult for the teams, for the players at those early phases. But let's see what will be the strategy, as this is the second last match of the day. I totally agree, a lot of challenges could be witnessed out.
Well, indeed, the challenges are for sure going to be there. The circle has been formed, and eventually the circle is favoring a lot of things in this western region. But at this point, if we talk about the melees, well, the melees are coming up. Look at that. People are actually getting punched up. That's amazing. They're getting banged here and there. Meanwhile, Mothhouse is going to be another beautiful region where people might actually go on. TSG Army is actually losing Black 27 from their roster, but 125 is there, Senior is there, and at this moment, if we are actually talking about Legend, they're also pretty much in the close vicinity. They're pretty much scattered. They're trying to actually loot these secluded houses. They're trying to actually get as much as loots as possible. TSG is known to be very aggressive, but then again, at this point, if we talk about their aggression, it is not being shown. The aggression is not coming up at this point, but let's see how far it will help them. Match number 5, Purgatory, is the map which we are actually witnessing. It has already been started. 39 players are surviving out of 45, 46 players which would have been in the lobby. That actually shows there are a lot of losses. But if we talk about the respawn region, it is very close in the particular area. But in that Gold Coast region, I believe nobody wants to go in, because that's where Black 27 was finished off. SES ALFAINK on the other corner, if we talk about this particular team representing the Indonesian continent at this point, we have got Bara, Ray, Atrio, Kide. Everybody is surviving. Vending machines are there. They're trying to actually just collect as much as loot as possible. But DEADROW on the other corner also gets eliminated.
DEADROW, again, this team will get eliminated at those early phases. And talking about the other teams, well, Team SES, well, this team also got eliminated at those early phases in the past games. So talking about Kide, he'll get knocked, and finally he'll get eliminated. Talking about VPros, Tago, Poison, and X-God, Rohit, all of them are still 4 men standing. They haven't they have secured one finish point. Talking about Team DX, well, they haven't secured any finish point yet. Heaven, Fox, and Diamond, and it's Tower 125. They are going with that slow and steady approach to move on with, to get those a place point onto the right side. And let's see what will be the results, what will be the momentums, how will they go on. But what do you think, Raider? This match, I believe this could be the table turning match of the day. If any one of the team, if any one of the players could get those position onto the right side, onto the right point, I think this could be totally challenging and very fruitful for the particular team to move on with.
Indeed, it can be quite impactful. So looking forward to see how the impact is going to be there. Meanwhile, if we talk about Jessica, HOTSHOT, they're trying their level best to survive, but at this point, the only thing that is actually messing me is going to be the right Carnage. I'll actually love to say that the Carnage is still not coming up. Jessica and their teammates, they are still surviving. They are still trying to impact this fight, but the only thing that is missing is the right synergy. HOTSHOT was able to come a little bit close to a beautiful Boya in the third match. That was the Kalahari map. After that, things were changing quite a bit. But let's talk about the live location at this point. In the live location, you can see that DEADROW was already eliminated at the 12th position. Apart from that, if we talk about the crossover, if we talk about the areas where a lot of people are actually in a tussle, we've got Mothhouse, where we have got Team Delta X and RHK also pretty much in the close quarters. TSG, as usual, are in the Katulitseva region. If we talk about DRANIX, the team which is on top of the leaderboard, they are in the Lumber Mill. If we talk about NIGMA Galaxy, Fields is the home ground where they are actually going to find. HS is in the central region. Nobody else is actually in the close quarters, but still the eliminations are coming up, and this is ONIC, which actually finds a beautiful knockout.
Well, as we can see, 40 players are still standing out, and the team RRQ last match was pretty good for the team. They almost secured top 5 position with almost 4 to 5 finishes point, and I believe pretty sort of comeback could be delivered out in the last match, and I believe a total full comeback could be delivered in this match. But talking about RHK, FIFA, Toshok, Knight 09, all of them are a 3-man standing. They haven't got any finishes point yet. Could be seen around Lumber Mill, and there could be some difficulties. There could be some sort of technical issues, but there you go. Finally, a player has been eliminated down. Team RHK looking in trouble. Well, I don't think they are looking in trouble. They are creating trouble for their opponents, and finally, a knock and a good finish could be delivered out. Total 2 finishes point within a snap is checked out by Team RHK.
Well, indeed, the finishes are coming up, and it's quite lovely to see that how far this establishment is coming up. If we talk about RHK, Knight 09 is going to be the last one standing. He's completely trying to fall back, which might actually give him the bump that was required, which might actually give him the respawn to be done. But is it going to be that easy? Well, not at all, to be precise, guys. The respawn is not going to be that easy. It is going to be quite troublesome, to be precise. And now let's talk about the guns that he is actually using. I believe he has got the M82B, which have got a lot of damage, 98 to be precise. Range is 85, and if we talk about the accuracy, it is also having the 98 pointers in the favor. Although you don't get any kind of foregrip or magazine extension or stock, to be precise, in that gun, but eventually when it comes to the silencer, muzzles, and scope, you can actually explore with it. But apart from that, when it comes to AV radicals, they are actually pretty much close to the Brasilia region, where a lot of teams could actually come in. Remember, guys, Brasilia is the center region where if the zone forms, it would be a very fruitful approach from them. But Tanamo and Raymel are out of equation. So for their revival, I believe they're just trying to scout around so that they can actually go for the respawn location and eventually respawn their teammates.
Of course, they'll try to respawn their teammates, but right now looking at Team AV, well, Rethos, Wine, all of them are 2 men standing. They have lost 2 players, but yet they haven't secured any one of the finish point. So just gonna be little challenging, little struggling for the teams and players, because whenever we talk about the man advantage, that becomes very much important. But on to the other end, Team DRANIX. Well, this is not the favorable map of the team. Well, after this match, the map of Kalahari gonna be very much favorable for the team, because we can't forget the performance of Team DRANIX. So whenever we talk about this particular team, those 18 to 19 finishes point and very chased out Boya was totally unbelievable. But right now they are still moving with that slow steady approach, very loot focused, moving with that gratefully. But right now if we look at Team NIGMA Galaxy, they are still 4 men standing, no finish point, no player loss. I think they are moving with that positive approach.
That could be the approach, but let's see how far this approach is going to help them. But now, 2 teams have been eliminated. I believe only 1 team, to be precise, DEADROW. RHK is already on the verge of getting decimated, so that is something I'm actually pretty much worried about. Match number 5, remember, guys, this is the match which is going to be the second last match, the glorious one, to be precise, where you can easily get an advantage of having a lot of open regions in your favor. After that, the Kalahari will come in, which will put a lot of pressure on you. Apart from that, NIGMA Galaxy still having only 1 kills in their favor. They are also trying to be a little bit more decisive about the fact that they have to gain a lot of points in order to beat team known as DRANIX, because DRANIX, well, they are still surviving. If you are able to eliminate them in the early circle, that will help them a lot. If I talk about TSG, Black 27 is back in the game. 27, Pawan 25, Senior 29, TSG Legend 21. These are the 4 members which are representing Team TSG. From the past 4 matches, TSG is unable to give that kind of huge performance, but still they are surviving, still they are showcasing back and forth the talent.
Of course, still they are surviving, and they still are proclaiming right now. But looking at in TSG condition from the past matches and the current matches, that's not looking so great. But you may see, yes, so they have lost their verge. They're on the verge of losing those 2 players. Last 2 players standing at Rio, and Rio are still standing out. The revival of Kid is almost looking like impossible. And if that glue ball breaks on, I think this could be very much challenging for the last player to standing out. There you go. Well, Ray is trying his level best. Finally, Ray has been taken down. At Rio, the solo player standing, the Lone Ranger, the survivor for the team, will he able to make that clutch? And falling back, getting those position point is a very intelligent move, because taking those 1v4 or 1v3 at this point, I don't think that's gonna be that worth it. But yes, I think he's doing that right option to move on with.
Surviving is actually going to be the right option, but Looking forward to see how far the survival is going to be there. SES ALFAINK trio becomes the last man standing. As you saw, that he's the only ray of hope for the team. Falling back is not going to be a question, and the answer for that question is going to be that he's for sure going to get eliminated because he's the last man standing of his team. Coming up in the close quarter, he can easily go with a 1v1. But apart from that, if I talk about the backup, that might actually arrive from the enemy's team. And if the backup comes in, he won't be able to survive. Our trio, last man standing, SES ALFAINK, are very close to getting eliminated. He has got the beautiful M10 in his favor, but let's see, he's actually going to eliminate with it, or he's going to get eliminated by himself. Meanwhile, if we talk about team known as Vibros from Nepal region, this team is also outstanding to be precise, but their performance is not coming from the back and forth team matches. So looking forward to see what happens. Meanwhile, if we talk about the chat, well, NP status, which is coming from Nepal, if I'm not wrong, is actually spamming WB. That means Vibros a lot. Noob Divya Gaming is actually there spamming Vibros. That's lovely, guys. Go for it. Support your favorite teams, but eventually don't hate anyone. And that's the beauty of this particular game. Nobody's hating each other's teams, and that is lovely.
Yeah, of course, it's going to be very much challenging and very much crucial as well. But looking at those mini maps, a lot of opponents could be seen very much closer to Team V Pros, and let's see how will they take on these challenges. But if we talk about the current scenario, well, this is a map 5, match 5 of Purgatory. 38 players are still standing out. A lot of conflicts, a lot of challenges could be delivered out at any point of the game. But yet, teams are going with that slow and steady approach. And each step, I think, is taken with that, a lot of carefulness, a lot of alertness. And let's see, will that mid-range fight will be workable for which team or which player?
Handling that particular fight is not going to be that easy, for sure. That is the biggest roadblock to be precise at this point. But let's see. This is going to be an easy one. I really doubt it at this point, but the high time is coming up. The fights are actually coming up at this moment, so definitely looking forward to see how far it will help them. Match number 5, the Purgatory is here. V-Bros are still surviving. We have got Drago, GRG, Poison, Bravo X God, and Rohit. Everybody is still surviving. A knockout comes in on the back end. Well, that's decent. Quite a few knockouts are coming up, which is lovely. ONIC, ONIC player are actually eliminating a lot of people from the lobby. That's amazing. I believe Delta X is the one which is receiving a lot of blows from the corner.
Of course, I think this is going to be very much challenging, very much crucial to move on with. A lot of difficulties could be tackled down. Let's see how will the teams, how will the players perform out. Only 26 players are standing right now in Team RHK official. Finally, they'll be get eliminated, and Delta X, well, those 9 finishes point have been tackled out. Let's see. Oh my goodness, the team HOTSHOT, well, this team has also been eliminated within a snap, one by one. Each team is getting down and getting eliminated from this map. But looking at Team V Pros, finally, if I'm not wrong, they have secured few finishes point. And if we look at AV Radicals, well, they have also been eliminated. So I think this is the very challenging point of the time in the game where, multiple teams have been eliminated down. Only last 18 players are standing out.
Well, definitely, I believe the standing tall and eventually having a lot of blows in your favor is actually going to get impacted quite a bit very soon. These impacts are actually going to get troublesome. Teams are getting eliminated. That is lovely because the zone pressure is coming up. Everybody has to perform exceptionally well. Meanwhile, RRQ, they are surviving. RRQ KAZU, Abe is there. We have got Legalu trying to perform, trying to actually get the points in their favor. But zone damage is there. People are attacking them outside the zone. So it will be quite risky for them to survive at this moment. They are actually trying to repass their vest and repass their HPs as well as fast as is possible. But look at that, he has to move forward. Abe might be spotted soon enough. He has got the LMG in his hand. But DRANIX on the other corner, the team which is actually the table topper, is still surviving, and that's the beauty.
Well, of course, this could be very much struggling for the team, and right now we can see a close range battle. Talking about Team DRANIX, they are still surviving out, and if we look at Team NIGMA Galaxy, well, they have been eliminated. No, they are also surviving. So a tough competition in the points table could be seen around. 2 finishes point already been secured by Team DRANIX. 13 players are standing out, and let's see what will be the results at the end zone. But if we look at the safe zone shrink timer, last 19 seconds is remaining out, and the timer will shrink and the zone will shrink in few seconds just remaining out. Let's see which team will get in. But RRQ, it's KAZU. Well, this team will also be eliminated. I was expecting, I don't think in today's day they could deliver a comeback. Let's hope for the last match.
Looking forward to it. In the last match, what will happen, how far they will go. because for now everything is looking shaky for this particular team. SES ALFAINK on the other corner also gets eliminated. Look at that, a lot of blows are coming up. Meanwhile, DRANIX is surviving. TSG Army also gets blown out of the pits. That's amazing. DRANIX on the other corner. Once again, they are getting attacked. But the beauty is, NIGMA Galaxy is also surviving, so everybody has to be a little bit more comfortable about it. That the teams which are on top two positions are still surviving. They are attacking each other, trying to pull through everything that's possible. The freezing aid has been actually thrown, and eventually it is damaging them quite a bit. ONIC Esports on the other corner also gets taken down. With that, we can clearly see that
Oh.
NIGMA Galaxy is also getting a lot of backlash. And with that, only 8 teams are surviving on the back foot. We have got quite a few teams surviving, quite a few players to be precise, which are lurking in the shadow. Ambot on the other corner gets knocked out. The revival will for sure come in.
Yeah, of course, the revival will for sure come in, but looking at Team V Bros, they are totally dominating the game with those 13 finishes point. And right now, DRANIX Mal, well, a perfect headshot could be delivered out, and he is totally utilizing those height advantages, and some back-to-back knocks could be delivered out. And this is very much a pleasure, very much phenomenal to chase on with. Finally, going for that third knock or third pick. I think they'll secure that also. And Team DRANIX with those 4 finishes point are totally leading the game, and I think they're verge of winning this game.
Indeed, they are, and look at that. They have actually won the game, to be precise, in their favor. Another beautiful match coming from DRANIX corner, and they are another beautiful team which is actually repeating their booyahs. So that's, to be precise, very lovely. And it seems like that at this point, I guess, if this kind of performance goes on, I guess DRANIX could be the team which is easily going to put a lot of pressure on teams like TSG and other teams as well. So looking forward, looking to be precise, trying to actually see how far this will help them, to be precise. But DRANIX, a beautiful comeback from the corner, although they were able to get a booyah in the past few matches, but then the things were a little bit more shaky for them. And now they are back in the purgatory, they are back in the chartered terrain, which was required. Another team, just like NIGMA Galaxy, is back in the form. NIGMA Galaxy was decimated quite a bit from DRANIX's corner. That means for NIGMA Galaxy, the biggest competition that they are actually going to face is going to be the team known as DRANIX.
Well, of course, so NIGMA Galaxy, DRANIX, well, these the team are table toppers, so playing a very, delivering a very great level of performance. But this will be the end of fifth match of Purgatory and the last map of Kalahari. And whenever we talk about, well, this is the table turning map. This is the map of comebacks. This is the map of chaos. This is the map of clusters and full of enjoyments. So let's see which team will show a pretty decent performance, or which team will get a comeback, or which team will retain their position. It's very much unfair as well as unpredictable to say that which team can show a comeback later. But let's see, let's hope. And I'll request my audience to please make a guess that in the last match of the day, which is of Kalahari, which team can show a table turning performance.
Well, indeed, I believe there are a lot of expectations coming from TSG's corner, Vibra's corner, because I can see the chart at this point. Everybody is just spamming TSG, somebody is spamming India, somebody is spamming Vibro, somebody is spamming RHK. So definitely a lot of hopes are there from their respective regions. A lot of hopes from their particular situation is there. But then again, only the best one is going to get the booyah. And for now, it's DRANIX, which is actually having a lot of advantage in their favor. Although the game is coming up in the Indian server, but then again, if we talk about the performance coming from these teams like DRANIX, exceptionally well, to be precise, the way they are able to actually change the pace of the game in their favor is absolutely amazing. They are actually giving a head-on competition to Thailand's team, NIGMA Galaxy, which is unable to give that strong comeback in this particular matchup. You saw how far they went. But the only thing which might actually change the game, if NIGMA Galaxy will be having a lot of frags in their favor. So even if DRANIX was able to win this particular matchup, if the frags are there from NIGMA Galaxy's corner, I believe leaderboard is going to be a little bit more favorable for NIGMA Galaxy. And if that happens, it will be another amazing side to watch out for.
Of course, I think these things matter a lot, but I'm pretty much shocked about few teams. If we talk about Team RRQ or Team TSG, they yet couldn't secure those top two, top three position, and this is very much shocking results to be maintained out. But as this is the last match, the hopes are still alive, and let's see how will they play off, and what will be the results. But keeping these things aside, talking about our audience, well, I'll request each and everyone, guys, to please go do hit that like button, subscribe the channel, share this stream with your friends, with your mates, to show your support. Our like target for the day will be of 500 likes, and we'll be coming back, we'll be coming to you guys with some back-to-back 6 days and then a break, and then 3 days grand final. So the event is almost of 9 to 10 days, so stay tuned and keep supporting us. And the last match is of Kalahari. So what is your expectation, Raider? And guys, The chat section is totally alive, so you can also, tell your expectation in the chat section.
Definitely, guys, go for it. Support your favorite team and eventually tell us that what your insight is all about, how you think your favorite team is going to perform, what they are actually doing wrong. You can actually give us an insight.
Yep.
A lot of calibration has to be done to be precise if they want to win it. But I believe everybody wants to win it at this point, be it TSG, be it RRQ, KAZU, or some other teams which are actually able to give the competition. But let's see which team is going to be the one which is going to get favored with this particular fight. Although for now, the competition still relies between two teams, which is known as uh, DRANIX and NHK, NGX to be precise. So NIGMA Galaxy pretty much close to them. They are actually in a very good tussle with them. But eventually, the only thing that is missing around is going to be the right calibration. NIGMA Galaxy back and forth when they are trying to survive. The only wrong thing that they are trying to do is pushing a little bit more aggressively on the team known as RHK, because RHK, they're pretty much calm and composed team. You saw whenever they are getting damage, they are appointing the glue walls. Whenever they're getting pressurized, they are changing the pace of the game by just actually allocating themselves in some other region. So that is actually helping them quite a bit.
Of course, that is helping them quite a bit. But typically, if we talk about the other teams as well, if we talk about Team V Bros, they played very good in the last match as well in the second last match. But if we talk about the comebacks, well, comeback with at least 5 to 10 points is very much needed. And if with those comebacks, a pretty decent Puya is also very much needed for the confidence of your team, of your players, as well of your audience, as well as of your fans. And this becomes very much crucial at the time when you are not getting those right things onto the right point. You get demotivated. A lot of challenges could be stubble out, but keeping those things aside, you should always go with a great start. You should always go with a new start. And after the day ends, after the sixth match, and tomorrow we could with some new starts as well. And if I'm not wrong, we are not coming tomorrow. We could join you guys with the day after tomorrow on 12th, because we are taking a break. Holiday on tomorrow, so you guys could, till then you guys could do hit that like button, subscribe the channel, share the stream. But without wasting any time, coming to the overall standings, well, DRANIX esports, so they are on the table top with those 96 points and a lead of 13 points in their favor.
Oh man, the picks are coming up at this moment. DRANIX is actually having a beautiful composure in their favor. NIGMA Galaxy is lacking behind with 13 points to be precise. There is a buffer of 13 points between DRANIX Esports and NIGMA Galaxy just to actually come up to an equalizer. But DRANIX Esports are very close to the first ever century in this particular invitational season too. So that could be absolutely amazing if they're able to hit that triple digit marker. That would be lovely. Vibros on the other corner are pretty much close. They're trying to snag around, trying to actually have that kind of anticipation of getting the first position in their favor. One good booyah from their corner, they can easily bump their position to #2 or maybe #1 as well if DRANIX and NIGMA Galaxy, both of them, gets animated quite early in this particular matchup. But for that particular perspective to happen, it won't be that easy. I don't think so. It's going to be an easy match where these two guys are actually just easily going to go out of the equation. Things will be a little bit more difficult, but looking forward to see how far the difficulties are going to incline, how far the establishment is going to help them at this moment. So the next matchup, after the lobby is ready, after the fights are ready to be precise, we'll get an insight about that matchup, and eventually that insight will showcase another beautiful fight to be precise. But I guess one doubt is there in my mind, that is it going to be possible where teams like TSG, they are getting shackled around quite a bit? Will they be able to come back in the Kalahari region? I guess we have to find it out once the match gets started.
Of course, the match is getting started, and if we talk about the fly path, a decent fly path, a pretty slanting horizontal fly path could be witnessed around, and we would love to see if there's any drop clash at those early phases, and even our audience would love to enjoy that drop clash. But right now, at those current condition, if you look at the alive players, the intensity of the lobby, almost 44 players are standing out, if I'm not wrong. And let's see for how long they will compete to each other. And almost 3 players, if I'm not wrong, the team has lost out. It's Team ONIC. 3 players have been lost out, and now it's 32 players. The intensity of the lobby is little low to move on with, but the players are quite aggressive as it is the last match, so they try their level best to get a comeback and to end their day on a positive note.
The positive note is not going to be an easy one, to be honest. But Heavy Radicals trying to perform. DRANIX on the other corner is once again being chaotic, as you can see that the knockouts are getting followed up. Then the KOs are coming up. Meanwhile, the safe zone is also going to shrink. Only 32 players are surviving at this moment. That means quite a few teams have bailed out of this particular matchup quite early. So that's another insight that we have to go with. But Heavy Radicals still trying to perform, still trying to actually figure out where the loots might actually be there. They are pretty much in a very good space, to be honest. They can easily get a lot of loot from this region. Once the loot is pretty much over, they will be able to give a strong comeback, and that's what I'm counting on. DX, that means Delta X once again goes in, finds a beautiful knockout.
Well, as we can see, 30 plus are standing are around, and if we talk about the live location, according to the live location team TSG and team DRANIX, well, these are the two teams where you could see a drop clash. Apart from that, if we talk about other two teams, well, it's team DX and team DRW. Well, they're around Stone Ridge, so there are 2 to 3 drop clashes as we can see around. But talking about team A with Anam Wine, Ray Meal, well, these are the 3 players standing without any finish point into the favor, and a decent distance has been maintained out. And as I mentioned earlier, well, the map of Kalahar is a slow map, a bit competitive map, and a map of comebacks. But there you go, Remil has been taken down. Wine Tanamo as of the last 2 players standing, and there's no one to give that instant support, to give that instant revival. This could be very much struggling. And finally, it's Tanamo. Well, he'll come as a savior, as a survivor for the player, for the team, and he'll finally get the revival out of it. But right now, this fight is going to be very much challenging. A perfect grenade out of there was on point. Remil again. This is the second time he's been taken down, and right now the revival is going to be very much difficult.
It's a difficult fight, to be precise, but then again, they want to come back. They want to actually surely pose the chance of having a beautiful territory in their favor. So looking forward to see, is it going to be an easy task? Well, for now, I don't think so. It's going to be an easy task, but then again, maybe. Oh, the shots are there. Retooks have been finished off. Tanamo has been finished off. Vine on the other corner is actually going to fairly just bail back from the situation so that he can actually go ahead and get the tokens in his favor so that he can recall his teammates. That's good enough, and eventually that should be the strategy. But Vine is also getting suppressed quite a bit, and with that, I believe Kalahari could be the map where AV Radicals is going to go out quite easily. Look at that, AV Radicals is about to go down, and yes, it is. The squad has been eliminated. It's AV Radicals out of the equation.
Well, of course, AV Radicals has been eliminated, and a perfect example of communication and coordination has been proclaimed by HOTSHOT. Well, they got only 1 finish point, if I'm not wrong. And finally, HOTSHOT, they're still 4 men standing, grouping up, discussing something, planning something to get on with. But right now, as this is the last match, I'll request each and every audience, each and every, player or fans watching the stream to please go to hit that like button, guys. Just show your support so that we could, get those moral positive support as well. But the safe zone is now shrinking, as mentioned. 31 players are still standing on, and let's see, will team HOTSHOT will be coming up with some amazing HOTSHOT as well? Then will they justify their names? Talking about team DRANIX, well, Aimbot, Susanna, Mal, and Pew, well, all of them are 4 men standing right now. They'll group up, all of the 4 players will group up and plan out something, how to rotate on, how to get those finishes point. But if we talk about team DRANIX, well, this is the favorable map. This is the map where they got almost 18 to 19 finishes point, and let's see, will they able to maintain that or retain that same legacy as it was earlier shown up.
One tough fight, to be precise. Coming back is not going to be that easy. That is something I'm actually keen on trying to talk. But team DRW, DEADROW, to be precise, they're trying to come back quite strong. Kalahari is the final map of the day. To be precise, the first day of this Asia Invitational Season number 2 presented by Lidoma Asia. And now the trouble is still getting closer and closer because the zone is going to get shrink down. And they're pretty much close to the Santa Catarina region. But in that particular region, I believe a lot of teams might actually come in. They're on the edge location. They are actually close to the recall area as well. So teams might actually find their way to get the recall done and dusted for the teammates as well.
Of course, so teammates and players might can recall their players, can recall their holdings. But right now, talking about Team NIGMA Galaxy, well, this is the match. If they want to come back, if they want to, maintain the legacy of first position, they should get a booyah, or they should get some, a maximum finishes point, around those 10 finishes point. Because if we look at Team DRANIX, they're almost leading the game with those 13 13 extra points. And if we talk about this particular match, of course, Team DRANIX will gain some more points in this match. So if Team NIGMA Galaxy wants to end the day with those first position, I think this Boya is very much needed for NIGMA Galaxy. Talking about the death board, well, RRQ, Team AVR, RHK, ONIC, and ONIC. Well, all of these team have been eliminated. And if we talk about DRANIX Mal, 17 finishes point. This player is totally phenomenal. I believe the most valuable player for the day. I believe if one of the players is eligible, well, I would totally been satisfied with this player.
Well, eligibility is the question that will get an answer very soon. After we'll get to see that who are the teams which are going to get qualified for the play-ins. But before that, for the next 5 days, we are actually going to be in a suspensive mode where we don't know that which team is finally going to come up as a closure. But yes, of course, every other team is just trying their level best to deliver the fights which is required. Kalahari, the map which is absolutely amazing. Technical difficulties are one part of this particular game, guys. But then again, it is actually going to be resolved very soon. TSG Army is looking and trying their level best to be confident about the fact that they have to deliver a lot of fights. Meanwhile, if we talk about guys like TSG Legend and Senior, they are also trying to loot up the region. And if we talk about Senior, he's trying to find his way down on the particular regions from which the rotations might be coming up. And if he spots a rotation being done, he can easily wipe them out.
Of course, a lot of good rotation could also be done around, but I think if we look at the team TSG, well, I believe they are playing very safely, very quantitatively, and with those 4-man strong advantage, they haven't got any finish point yet, and they're almost at those edge of the zone. So playing with that slow and steady approach and going with that alert gameplay will always give you a pretty tougher task to move on with. But talking about Legend 21, SESX, well, these teams are there who could trouble you a lot, who could, challenge you a lot. But as I took the name, SES, a team will get eliminated within a snap. Last 25 players are standing out, and it's very much challenging for each and everyone. Almost 7 to 8 teams are still surviving out. And what do you think? Well, there comes the fight. Finally, it's a little challenging for Legend 21 to get that hold and get that pick. Finally, a very nice jump would be mentioned now. The glue wall has been taken down, and Legend showing some extra overcommitment. Support from opponent is being mentioned, and finally he'll be taken down. Instant support from team TSG is also being required, and within that time, that period, team Delta X will also be eliminated.
A lot of eliminations are getting followed up. Only 24 players are surviving. Respawn is not going to be that easy because Delta X, SEX Alphanak, if we talk about team known as ONIC, RRQ, AV Radicals, RHK, every other team has been taken down. Only 6 teams are surviving. And the best part is every single team is having the 4-man power. So that means 24 people that are surviving are actually going to be at the 110% peak performance because they are surviving with the full manpower. But if I talk about TSG, it's not looking that good for them because Black is already down to dust. It's all about Legend. Legend finds a beautiful knockout. As per the name suggests, Legend is really a legend. But no, is not going to stand that tall in front of him. DRANIX. And DRANIX is back in the meta. They are back in the game. Meanwhile, NIGMA Galaxy is still trying to survive. But one thing I'm pretty much confirmed about is going to be the 100-point marker that Team DRANIX is going to get after this match.
Of course, so if we look at the current scenario, well, team ONIC, they have got 6 finishes point, which is very much difficult in this particular map. But talking about team DRANIX, well, this is the favorable map for the team. They already performed very much fantastically in the last match of the same map. But right now they are having 3 finishes point. Talking about team GRW, well, they are also 4 men standing to move on with 18 alive players. 1 finishes point has already been secured, and they're still moving with that same hold. They're still moving with that same position to chase on with. Let's see what will be the upcoming result, what will be the upcoming stanzas. But right now, they're looking in a great trouble to move on with.
Well, indeed, the trouble is coming, but still, if we talk about the impact from Team DEADROW, the impact is still coming up. They have lost 1 good member. They were about to lose 1 good member. I mean, Sahil was the guy who was about to go down, but eventually Sahil survives. If we talk about the other remaining players to be precise, they are still surviving. They are still trying to give the huge comeback that is required at this point. But the only thing that is missing is the right synergy, right calls. 3 finishes from the corner. But apart from that, if we talk about Team DEADROW Esports, exit rush has been taken down. He has been taken an exit out of this equation. We have got KD09, we have got Sahil 3. Sultan is also surviving at the back end. Few fights are remaining, but the domination is coming from DRANIX's corner. Look at that. 12 kills is already there from that particular team. Who can stop them at this point? I believe teams like DEADROW Esports will be a little bit more shaky in front of them. I guess NIGMA Galaxy could be the team which can easily pump up the brakes on the team known as Team DRANIX. Otherwise, DRANIX is for sure going to become the table topper for this day and maybe upcoming 5 days as well.
Well, of course, this could be very much challenging for the team. But if we look at a team at DRW, they have got those two finishes point going for the third one. And yes, the plan will executed by Sultan very nicely. But this glue wall, I think for the time being, it will help him. And no, I don't think it will help him a lot. This jump was not very much required. The last 10 players surviving out. And if we look at the teams alive, it's almost like 3 to 4 teams are still alive right now with those pretty decent average man advantage of 3 to 4 players, which is very much challenging to take on with. Let's see how will this day end and how will this map of Kalahari end right now right here. But looking at team NIGMA Galaxy, they are totally onto the roll. But DRANIX, I think they have secured 12 finishes point, and if a Boa comes or top 3 position comes in, I totally agree that they could maintain that lead with a lot of buffer to NIGMA Galaxy.
Indeed, coming back quite stronger is going to be the goal. But eventually, is it going to be that easy is the biggest question, because now if we talk about NIGMA Galaxy, their survival rate is getting diminished. They've only got 2 players, Top and Fugard, are actually going to be there, but both of them won't be able to compete because in the previous match you saw how beautifully there was a 4v4 tussle, and eventually in that 4v4 tussle as well, it was a team known as Team DRANIX which was able to come back quite strong. So having B-Bros also surviving in the lobby, a third party situation might actually come in, and that might actually help the team known as NIGMA Galaxy to get back in the game, or V-Bros could actually come back quite a bit. But Prabhu, look at that, his HP is not even being shown at this moment, not even visible to be precise, because he was diminished quite a bit. He was getting attacked quite a bit. He has to go back down to the hill, but eventually if they have the grappling hook gun, that could actually help them. But look at that, another shot comes in, and this shot is damaging them quite a bit.
Of course, the shots is damaging them a lot, but right now, if we look at the player survival, almost 9 players are surviving right now. And looking at a team of V Bros, it's very much important for them to get a comeback, because the support they are getting from the audience, the responsibility is onto their shoulder to deliver the same level of performance what the support they are getting. But right now, if we look at the last player standing, if I'm not wrong, it's X God. The whole responsibility is also onto his shoulder. Amazing, some glue walls have been created out, and the glue walls have been also break down by the enemies, by the opponents as well. Let's see for how much longer time he can maintain the same survival skills, he could maintain the same positioning. But right now, some first hits have been popped out onto the other end. Some amazing throwables have been also used, and there you go, part of X God looking in very big trouble. HOTSHOT has been eliminated within a snap, and finally we are on the top 2 teams to take on with, and the Booyah is being missed out.
Oh man, indeed, a beautiful match to be precise. A beautiful performance is already done and dusted. With that, I believe our day is pretty much over. But the only thing which actually was glorious was the competition, was you guys trying to support us, was you guys actually supporting your favorite teams as well. WB Drago, indeed, WB is actually another beautiful team which was able to come back quite strong. But eventually, if we talk about the composition, or should I say the domination, it was Team DRANIX. Back and forth, 3 good booyahs in a single day. I mean, what more can you demand?
Of course, 3 Boya in this single day, and with those maximum number of finishers point, can you believe they secured the first Boya with those 17 finishers point, and then again with those 10 to 12, and then again in this match with around 9 to 10 finishers point. This is what we called a perfect communication, a perfect coordination, as well as consistency, how it looks like. And they almost, we would love to wait for the points table. And if you look at the points table, I'm totally assuring you that, Raider, that there could be a great buffer in the points table between the first and second player. Because if we talk about NIGMA Galaxy, they played pretty good. They got some few finishers point and place point as well, but the way DRANIX played, I think that was totally speechless.
Indeed, DRANIX, after having a beautiful comeback in this particular matchup, now everybody can actually say one thing, that DRANIX is for sure one of those teams which you don't want to mess around with. Be it
Yep.
NIGMA Galaxy, be it one of those teams which have actually secured the first ever booyah of this particular tournament. But when it comes to, I guess, the team known as DRANIX, you can't stand tall in front of them if you are actually trying to stand tall in front of them. One thing that you have to actually calibrate is how far you can actually uh, rotate, and eventually how far you can actually come back with a glorious fight in your favor.
Well, of course, this could be very much challenging and very much crucial for the players as well. But with this match end, I think that they will also end out, and we would almost we will almost witness the amazing gameplay to the end. But before we would love to end, I would also like to request each and everybody to please, guys, go to hit that like button, subscribe the channel, share the stream. Our target for the day will be of 500 likes. And as Raider mentioned, and as I mentioned earlier, this tournament is of 9 days, 6 days of this particular phase, and after that, 3 days of grand finals. So the tournament is very big, very contrasting, and very enjoying to you guys. So I'll request to please go to hit that subscribe button, and in fact hit the bell icon as well. So whenever we come live, you guys can enjoy and come and support your favorite team as well.
Well, indeed, that is the insight that we wanted to actually give you guys. But tomorrow, I guess tomorrow is going to be the off day. But after day after tomorrow, I believe once again the fights are actually going to get ignited. Some other groups are actually going to take a tussle. Let me actually tell you about the schedule from 12th Jan. I guess we are going to witness Group A and B fighting it out. From 13th Jan, we are going to witness Group A and C in a tussle. And after that, if we talk about 14th Jan, Group B and C are going to be in a fight. After that, 15th Jan will come up with Group A and B. 16th will be an off, and after that, 17th will bring you back with Group A and C. So that means every group is going to get 4 days in the plains, 6 days of plains. I believe three groups are there. Group A, B, and C are there, and eventually 18 teams are here in this particular matchup, in this particular plains. And after that, out of this plains, only the 9 teams are going to get qualified. The top 9 teams, to be precise, are going to get qualified for the next battle. And eventually, if we talk about the fact that which are the remaining 3 teams, one is going to be the fan favorite one that sums up to the 10 teams. And after that,
Yep.
2 teams are going to be the underdog teams, the undergod teams, the rising one, to be precise, which are going to be invited in this particular tournament. So that's how the 12 teams, that's how the lobby of the grand finals is going to form. And in the grand finals, as Eagle said, that we are going to give you, or should I say, the management is going to give you the $1,000 prize pool, to be precise. And the split is likewise
Yep.
that $500 is going to be there for the champion, for the runner-up $250, for the second runner-up, that means the third position $150, and for the fourth position $50 is what they are going to get. And meanwhile, if we talk about the fact that MVP, what is going to be there for MVP, $50 again is going to be there for the MVP. So definitely you have to fight for your team, you have to fight for the glory, you have to fight for your own individual performance, because that will actually credit you $50 as well. But that will actually happen in the grand finals. But in order to go to the grand finals, you have to perform exceptionally well and be in the top 9, or should I say just be in the top 3 or be the top 1 in the particular stances of the planes. But now I guess we can end the stream today, and we'll be back day after tomorrow. Okay. I guess, guys, we have a small update for you. The points table will come in, the overall standing that is pretty much needed to be precise, so that we can get an insight that what is happening and how the whole day went out. We saw the points table for the last 5 matches, but eventually, let's see the overall standing. I guess Team DRANIX was pretty much close to having the particular triple digit pointer in their favor, but after getting this Boya, one thing is pretty much secure, that they are actually going to have points close to 120 in their favor.
Well, of course, they'll have a great buffer in the overall points table. And if we talk about the second stance, I think that is also very much booked and reserved for Team NIGMA Galaxy as well, because they were also very much committable and very much consistent in the games as we moved forward. But they couldn't get the first position because they lead the buffer which was created by Team DRANIX. I think that is totally on target. That is totally on next level. Let's see what will be the upcoming point table and how will they play off. But before that, as Raider mentioned, that this is a 1,000 USD US dollar tournament, so it's a very big prize pool. So we need those things, guys. If you want to take some, there's a lot of prizes for you guys as well. So if you guys want to enjoy, so before that, please go to hit that like button, subscribe the channel, share the stream, and the like target for this particular stream is of 600 likes. It's very much easy for you guys to show your support, because I believe tomorrow we'll take a holiday, tomorrow we'll take a break, and after that from 12th onwards we'll be coming with some back-to-back 5 days, and after that some 3 days grand final as well. So do show your support and tighten your seat belts. Very soon we'll be watching the points table.
Well, indeed, the points table will come in, which will give us an insight, as we talked about it earlier, that you will get to know which are the teams on top, which are the teams on bottom, which are the teams who have to bring back the glory in the next upcoming days, which are the teams who have to do a lot of calibration or analysis, whatever you want to call it out, in the next half day to be precise, in the next holiday to be precise. I believe the 11th Jan is actually going to be a holiday for this particular tournament. So definitely that day is going to be an insightful day where they can easily rewatch the stream, recheck their performance, check what they did wrong, and eventually come back even stronger. So that is going to be the main goal for this particular team, whichever actually are on the bottom. And the teams which are on the top, well, they have to chill a little bit, or but then again they have to just pretty much be vigilant about the fact that there are some teams which can easily come back. There are some teams which want to come back. There are some teams which have got the credibilities. Like if we talk about Team Nigma Galaxy, they are very close to be precise, but that closeness will be shown by the leaderboard. We are waiting for the leaderboard, but let's see when the leaderboard comes in. We'll get to know that what kind of closeness is there in the terms of, let's say, fight and stuff like that.
If we talk about the competition, if we talk about the neck-to-neck competition, as you mentioned about the closeness, well, that closeness couldn't be fulfilled today. But if we talk about the Enigma Galaxy team, well, that team is very much phenomenal to move out. Without wasting any time, we'll directly move towards the points table and DRANIX Esports, as mentioned, 126 points in total. Well, they have taken on. And if we talk about the lead, well, the lead is of almost 31 points. Nigma Galaxy with those 95 points on the second position. V Pros with those 94 points on third. A very heavy neck to neck competition is being witnessed out.
Well, for now, the performance that we wanted to see is already here. Is DRANIX, which is actually reigning a top 126 points. But let's talk about the teams which are actually at the bottom. RHK official 26 points, AV Radicals only 31 from the corner, RRQ KAZU only 32 points, DEADROW Esports 42, TSG Army 48, HOTSHOT Esports 49, Delta X 53 points, and if we talk about ONIC Esports 54 points from the corner. Remember, guys, the MVP charters is also going to come in soon, and you will get to see who's the MVP of this particular round. Well, of course, the MVP could be coming from Enigma Galaxy's corner, or it could be coming from DRANIX Esports' corner. But who is the guy? Who is the individual who was able to actually attack the way we wanted to see them? But looking forward to see what happens. Eventually, V-Bros, they are actually coming up very close to Enigma Galaxy, not even having a single booyah in their favor. And still, this team is able to have this kind of performance. Just one more point and they could easily equalize Enigma Galaxy. And this shows that how brilliant, if you brilliant you can actually become if you have got the right, should I say, strategy, if you have got the right advantage of the consistency in terms of kill points and score and the position points.
Well, of course, they played very much phenomenally in terms of those kill points. The maximum kill points are secured by DRANIX Esports. And moving towards the MVP, well, DRANIX Mal with those 22 finishes point, 22 elimination is totally phenomenal to move on. And if we look at the difference between first and second, it's V Pros Rohit with those 16 and V Pros Poison with those 16 into his favor. So the difference of 6 is not very large, but yes, it will take you a day or two to compete with the DRANIX Mal, and same with the overall points table as well.
Right. Indeed. Well, the figuring out of how the impact was there and what kind of jump is there from DRANIX's corner is already done. There is a huge buffer of close to, I believe, 30 points. A beautiful match to be precise is already there. But right now, guys, we are going to take a short leave. Short means that a leave for one day, and after that, we'll bring you another set of 6 amazing matches day after tomorrow. That will be the 12th Jan. So mark your calendars, mark your clocks, and eventually take a stopwatch and eventually just go for it. Or you can actually go with an easier approach where you can easily subscribe the channel and eventually press the bell icon. You will get the notification very soon when the stream will be about to get started in before 30 minutes. And after that, when the stream will be started, another notification will be pushed to you. So definitely go for it. But now, guys, we are going to take a leave. See you guys around in the next match, in the next event.
it's good.